Here we are. Welcome back here, folks, and we are live at Richmond here. Thanks for joining us on MaxSpeedTV. We are here with the ECR Racing League, and we will be doing 240 laps here tonight. I got in the booth here with me, Luis Almazo. How you doing tonight, Luis?
Good evening, sir. Glad to be back here, ready for another awesome race.
Absolutely. Well, you guys ran the Xfinity cars here last night. Can you tell us a little bit about how that race went?
Well, Richmond, as always, people, sometimes they forget that this is a short track, and short track you're going to see a lot of banging, a lot of side-by-side racing, so that was no different. We saw a lot of things happening during that race, a lot of side-by-side action, guys getting into each other, a lot of pushing and shoving. But in the end, it was a really, really good race, and we saw our first-time winner last night in the number 43 of Jay Adair. So Jay finally getting his first win, and that puts him in position for tonight to fight for the sweep. So hopefully we can see him running, and if he's out there running the same time, this track seems to suit his driving style. So watch out for him.
All right, very good. Well, you got the points in front of you. You want to run down through the top 10 for us?
Yes, sir. All right. Following last week's race, he didn't have the best of races, but he is still our points leader going into our 9th race. Brian Wilderson in the number 13. He is our points leader right now. He has 2 wins out of the season already in the chase. So for him, whatever he can get out of these races is just learning for the chase. Joshua Witherspoon, driver of the number 79, he is now in 2nd place. Pretty good race last week. Had a couple problems, so hopefully he can rebound. Justin Bland, our winner a couple weeks ago in Martinsville, he sits 3rd in the number 65. Nelson Rivera sits 4th, our Phoenix winner. Another driver already clinched his spot in the chase. Stephen Massey, one of the drivers that we need to keep our eye out because he's been fast no matter the track. He's right there looking for a win. He sits 5th. John Schweiker, 2-time winner this season, he sits in 6th place, followed by Anthony Titchener, another driver who's looking for that first win just to make sure that he can guarantee his place in the chase. Brendan Simmons, one of the most consistent drivers that we have here at ECR this season, he is in 8th place, followed by Chris Ricoy, Mr. Where Did He Come From, driver of the number 42 machine. He is now in 9th place. And sharing the 10th place in our standings, we have 2 drivers, Michael Leiby in the number 55, and our Daytona 500 winner, AJ Scarborough, in the number 5. So those are our top 10 right now in the point standings, Rudy.
Very good, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm excited for this race here tonight. There's nothing more exciting than a short track race here, with the Gen 6, but it's like they're getting ready to go to qualifying. So, Luis, they kind of shortened it here on us, but we're going to go ahead and step away real quick here. We'll play our national anthem and be right back.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, Luis, we are back.
And they're still going through qualifying, Rudy, so qualifying is definitely underway.
We were going to discuss this. I see a few pink and purple cars out there tonight, Luis. Can you run us, tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, that's going to be a theme tonight. And this started as a voluntary thing made from our drivers. And this is a very special meeting to everybody here at ECR, Rudy. As you know, ECR is, we like to call ourselves a big family, the ECR family. And sometimes we can see that in full effect, not only between our drivers, but between everybody that surrounds our league. After last Tuesday's race, one of the dearest members that we had, the driver of the number 4, Nicole Johnson, our only female driver, she had a medical emergency happen to her, had to be sent to the hospital, has been still fighting through a couple things, so she's still in the hospital trying to recover from everything that happened last week. And not only Nicole's being the only female driver we have, but she's also one of the league admins. She is probably one of the most caring and drivers, admins that we have. She's here all the time, puts so much effort into everything, trying to make ACR the best possible league for iRacing. And everybody, when they heard the news, they said, there's no way we are not going to send our very best. There's no way we are not going to try to give her and her family every ounce of positive energy that we can. So the best way that we can send our good energy and send our love and care is, a lot of the times, just making sure that they can see how much they mean to us. So that's why you're going to see a lot of different paint schemes tonight, a lot of them running. Nicole has a lot of paint schemes where she runs purple, pink, light blue colors. So she's known for that thing. So you'll see a lot of the cars being pink, being purple, with their numbers in that particular color, with signs, with letters, with messages, all of those things, trying to get as much energy and positive things for Nicole Johnson and her family. So for everybody from her side that is watching the broadcast, and hopefully she's going to be watching this very soon, this is us, everybody here at ECR, giving it our best, sending everything that we have towards Nicole and her family. Hopefully she's going to be back here in no time and get out of this, and this is going to be a little bit of a scare. So that's why hopefully everybody's going to enjoy the new paint schemes, the messages, and we're going to do our best, right, to identify all the different guys, everybody in very, very similar paint schemes.
Yes, we will. And just to let you know, our thoughts and prayers here at MaxSpeedTV are with Nicole and her family right now. And you guys being family with her, I know how tight ECR is. My thoughts and prayers are with you guys too. We hope for speedy recovery and her return back here at ECR. So get well, and we wish you the best of luck there in your recovery, Nicole.
Yeah, one guy in particular, Rudy, that is taking over Cole's car is the former driver of the 03, Ken Run. Not only is he now driving one of her paint schemes, one of her favorite paint schemes, but he's also driving the car, the number 4, and he will be driving that car. It was something that the admins agreed to, that he's going to take over. We need that car on the track, and that's just going to make sure that Nicole gets pissed watching this, someone else driving her car, and she's going to be here in no time. So he's going to be taking over in a new number for us.
Very good, very good. That's pretty admirable of Enron to do that, and for you guys as league members to kind of give that a little bit of a boost. That's real. Well, looks like Nelson Rivera is on the pole for right now. Jeremy Rubin second. Wow, look at this. This is pretty awesome, Luis.
And they're separated by 0.007, Rudy. That's how close the thing got. Nelson's a pretty good short track driver. He won our race in Phoenix, had a pretty good car until got caught in a crash last week at Bristol. So he likes this type of track, these flat tracks. That's where his bread and butter is. And Jeremy Rubin is one of those guys that he just knows how to get the best out of a car in those one lap situations. So he knows how to tune a qualifying set like nobody. Got a bunch of poles last season, and we're starting to go through that section of the calendar where he's extremely comfortable with the tracks. So It's not a surprise that he's up there. It's not going to be a surprise to see him up in the front in the next couple of races as well.
Good. Well, Luis, real quick, I got to step away for just 1 second here. I got to get me some ice water. I got to have that water. Be right back. All right.
Yeah.
We're
getting ready to go.
A pretty good top 10 right there.
And we see our top 10 starters separated by just 0.2 of a second. So our top 10 starters, everybody very, very close. So this should be a pretty good start of the race.
All right, let's run down through the grid here as everybody's gridding up. Nelson Rivera taking over the pole position here. Congratulations to him with a 21.141. Jeremy Rubin will be starting second on the outside. Don Schweikert third. Thomas Lattimore fourth place. Anthony Thitchner fifth. John Cottle sixth. Ron Miller seventh. Justin Bland eighth. Kurt Quist ninth. Stephen Massey 10th. Jay Adair starting 11th. Brandon. Okay, I guess we're back, Luis. And green. Wow.
Right on cue.
I might be doing a couple other things here, so keep them going here while I'm trying to get things finished up. I just wanted to get the broadcast back up live. I apologize, folks. That was really weird. It just the whole system just shut down. I got the blue screen of death.
Oh, no worries, Rudy. We just got underway. Nelson Rivera got a pretty good start. He's now being followed by John Schweikert in second. Got a pretty good jump on that inside lane. Jeremy Rubin following him too, sitting third. Anthony Titchener fourth. John Cottle fifth. Thomas Lattimore sixth. Justin Glenn seventh. Ron Miller eighth. Stephen Massey ninth. And Kurt Quiz rounding out the top 10. A pretty good start by everybody. Everybody respecting a little bit of everybody else's room space. Give each other a lot of room, especially for that very first turn. Very tricky turn. Still, when you're not in your full rhythm, not getting the full speed that you wanted. So everybody did a pretty good job giving each other room, letting the car next to you get situated, find their own groove, and now we're starting to see guys really start to joust for position.
Yeah, looking back here, Quist, Jay Adair. Yeah, Jay Adair getting around Kurt Quist. And that kind of bums me out about that, why that thing did that. It happened to me one other time, too. Enough of that, I guess. It happens. It happens to everybody from time to time.
Yeah, we just had a car drive through that grass in the front stretch, Rudy. That was a number 83 of Josh Sheets. He lost control coming out of turn 4. Made the best of it, tried not to hit the wall that hard. Managed to control the car. Got a little bit of damage on the right front, but he's back on the track. Everybody was able to. He was able to hold the car back on the bottom of the track. And he's now rejoining the race. He's all the way back in the last place right now, but saved the car. Hopefully, he'll have a chance to fix that and be back in contention.
Oh, John Schweikert rolls right into the second place now, and as he got around Jeremy Rubin. Rubin now back in third, trying to hold off John Cottle. We've seen John Cottle extremely powerful on a lot of these tracks as of late here, and man, he's not throwing anything out of the works here tonight. Boy, he's throwing it all out on the line, and he passes up Jeremy Rubin, just drives right around. Good clean pass, so congrats on that pass. That was nice. And Anthony Titchener taking advantage of that situation as well.
Anthony in the right spot at the right time. Saw a little bit of an opening. I think Jeremy was just trying to get back into a rhythm when he saw the 87 was right next to him. Anthony that ran only the strongest race out of everybody last week at Bristol. He was saying that he has a pretty good car for a mid to long run, something that they did not have last week. So he was sounding very confident that not only him but everybody else from his team and a couple of partnerships that they have, that they should have a pretty good race.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, this is that was really kind of disheartening last week, him having such a dominant car like that and then not winning the race. So I'm sure he was kind of upset at himself for everything that transpired there, but he still ran one heck of a race last week.
Yeah, he knew he had the fastest car. When we were talking to him after the race, he knows it was just situational what happened. It was a small little detail, but sometimes in those races, that's all it takes, especially in a track like Bristol that you cannot pass when you're not that close. You cannot. And the two guys that finished ahead of him, Nate Miller and John Schweikert, they ran that last section of the race flawlessly. So it was just one of those things. But Anthony being the driver that he is, that team being that strong, his win's coming. Everybody knows it. It's just when he's going to put everything together, and they're now far off.
Well, we just had a moment here. Josh Witherspoon drove around Tony DeGennaro and goes into the 16th place. Now, that's our second place in the points right there. Josh Witherspoon. Doug Hess gets by him as well, putting Tony DeGennaro back to the 18th position here on lap 14.
Yeah, we see a lot of battles, a big straight line of cars, everybody being very, very close from the 16th position back all the way back to Jai Hedrick and Ken Ron sitting 28th and 29th. So everybody very, very close.
Yeah, this is very close back here. Chris Steele right into the mix of things here, following Scott Hunsinger. Actually had a run on the outside there trying to get by Scott. Scott actually passes him, and Scott goes into 22nd position. We'll see him to try to work to get to the front. Another one of the purple paint schemes out here in our thoughts and prayers for Nicole Johnson. So pretty cool. And you were saying, Luis, who was it? Ken Ron was running the paint scheme. Let me see. Is he even? Yeah, there he is back here in 29th. That is actually Nicole's Barbie paint scheme. See if we can get
that was one of Nicole's pet projects. Oh, we have a caution, Rudy.
Oh, yes, we do. That would be Michael Leiby going around. Caution of the race. What's happened to Michael here? The end of the turn, and looks like me when he come out of the turn, yeah, it was a little squirrely. Got into the wall. That really upset the car and slowed him up a lot. And I'm not sure if he's seen, but the 14 right here was right underneath him. 14 of Michael Guidry. I don't know if he's seen him coming into the turn or not, and just kind of cut down on Michael Guidry a bit. That's going to spin both of them out, actually. Kind of like synchronized spinning. Different quick here. I know it's short track, and we're not going to have a whole lot of time here, but Guidry actually drove right into the side of Michael Leiby. They kind of met in the middle. First caution.
Leiby, when he caught the wall, he lost a lot of speed, and you can tell that Guidry was already side by side with him. But I think he lost a little bit of his braking point when he was coming towards that turn number 3, and he ended up just sliding a little bit, and they got together. But one of those racing things, no, I'm here. So just ran out of real estate, had nowhere to go. As all of our leaders pitted, and Nelson Rivera, I think, beats John Schweiker coming out of the pits to stay in first place.
Yes, he did. But Douglas Hess stayed out long enough. Well, he's not going to lead a lap, actually, unless he can make it to the start-finish line here before Nelson Rivera comes around, but that's not going to happen. Nelson will go back into the lead, and he does lead that lap. So that makes 20 laps for Nelson Rivera. And here we are, folks, on lap 21 of 240. So lots of racing to come here on MaxSpeedTV. Thanks for joining us. And again, big shout out to Nicole Johnson. Hopefully she's watching, or she'll catch this later, and her family. All right. Now that now John Schweiker's got out second and Anthony Thitchner third, that puts Jeremy Rubin back to the 4th place. That's not where I know that's not where he wanted to be. He started on the outside of the front row, already got shuffled back.
And this is where we need to keep an eye out, Rudy. Last week at Bristol, the preferred position for you to restart was on the outside, because that's where the groove is, that's where the racing line was. So if you were on the right side, starting first, because you could pick if you wanted to start on the inside or outside, but then everybody else, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, you were in the prime position for a restart. Here is the other way around. You don't have that line on the outside powering through everybody on the exit of the corner, so you want to be on the inside. We're probably going to see our leaders more often than not, unless we have team play happening and a little bit of strategy. Chances are they are going to pick the inside, and whoever is starting on that inside lane is probably going to have an advantage. That's what we saw with Schweiker when he was restarted right at the start of the race, starting third. Jeremy got stuck on the outside, lost a couple positions. So we're going to see. We need to start to take a look at that right now, just to see if that's going to be a real differential during this race, especially when we get close to the later rounds.
Exactly. All right, well, we're doubling back up here. We're ready to go back green flag racing. Again, I apologize, folks, for that computer crash. I kind of out of my hands on that one, but...
Well, we're back running, no problem, Rudy, as we go ready to go green.
All right, pace car's in, and Nelson Rivera, John Schweikert on the front row, and they go together. Boy, what a restart there. Them guys really got on it. Ditchner in third, taking a look inside Schweikert. Schweikert slams that door shut. Not going to happen this time. John Cottle back here in fifth. He's come up through the field. Got himself in good position. Justin Bland, another one. Thomas Lattimore, seventh. Jay Adair, eighth. Brian Wilderson. This is the guy we've been kind of watching for. Brian Wilderson's been really hot lately. A couple of wins back-to-back here just a couple of short weeks ago. And here he is back into the ninth position.
Yeah, Rudy, just a piece of information for everybody. During that last caution, Michael Leiby received a penalty for that incident. So he restarted all the way to the back. So he was deemed the guilty party on that incident. So he restarted all the way in the back.
The guy you said to kind of keep our eyes on tonight, Stephen Massey, running in 10th place. The last week's winner, Nathan Miller. This is the guy that we were talking about last week that just dominated it. Well, he didn't dominate. No, let me rephrase that. He come to steal the win away from all them other guys because he kept the tires under it. And I don't know of another guy out there. There probably is a few, but this guy right here, Nathan Miller, I know that guy can manage his tires the whole race long, and I don't know how he does it. Patience and perseverance, I guess. Just staying with it.
Well, and if you thought that last week was kind of a fluke, just for everybody at home that didn't catch our broadcast last night for our Xfinity race, Nathan Miller finished second in our Xfinity race here last night, right behind Jay Adair, who is now sitting just 3 or 4 spots ahead of him. So the usual suspects, the same guys that we saw last night, they're all up there close to the top 10. As we see Nathan now trying to go by Stephen Massey, jumping to the inside to get into the 10th position. So watch out for those guys. Everybody from Nelson all the way back to Joshua Witherspoon in sitting 17th. Nobody is out of contention. Everybody's extremely fast as we still have 31 drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Every driver's still in the race. Mark Bratcher, now he was...
it's pinning.
Oh, yes, we do. John Schweikert. No. I got to get caught up to him here. He's dropping like a rock, man. Here he is, and let's go see what happened to John. Loose going into the turn. That'll do it. Let's see, I'm kind of watching here. Looks like he is going to get tagged here by somebody because I did damage on his car. Okay,
yeah,
maybe not.
The 41 of Jai Hadry got very close to his quarter panel on the left side, close to the rear tires, but I don't think they made contact,
Nope.
Rudy.
Nope. I thought I seen some damage on the car, but I guess not. I think the driver may have a little damage, just a
little bit of a bruised ego.
Yeah, a little bit of a bruised ego. Yep. Hold on a second here, because I forgot to do. Okay, there we go. Now we're back in. I see. I'm still working on stuff, trying to get things back in order the way I had them. Oh.
Well, we have a couple of guys staying out, Rudy, led by Nelson. So Nelson and 4 other drivers are staying out, with majority of our drivers hitting pit road.
If we could get with the Schweikert real quick here, if we can find out if he's okay. John Schweikert, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
John, I know you don't have any damage on the car, but you might have a little bit of a bruised ego on that one. Tell me what happened, brother.
I just got down in the corner and I was trying to not push it real hard early on in this race, and I don't know if I don't know what I did. Maybe just going too easy and not have enough brake, but then all of a sudden I noticed I had too much speed, so kind of just spun it out. Thank God nobody hit me. Just all you can do is hold the brakes and look left and wait for it,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, you did a good job. You kept it off the wall. Car not damaged or anything, just the driver with a little bruised ego on that one, right?
Hey, it happens to all of us, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true, John. Well, good luck out there, brother. We're going to keep an eye on you.
All right, 10-4, man. We'll catch up with you later.
Okay. All right. Well, they should be doubling back up here. We should get the one to go here in just a minute. Be restarting probably in about lap 36, I believe.
Yeah, they're going through lap 34 right now. This should be our 2 to go. And one thing to keep an eye on as well, Rudy, because just like happened last week, and at Bristol we had actually 2 pit stalls on the front and on the back stretch. Here, depending, we might see a lot of guys take a wave around, wait a lap, and then pit, just to make sure that they can hit their pit stalls in the right way. Because we saw, especially last night, our race controllers have been oriented to take a look at drivers going in and out of the pits, especially if they're driving through multiple pit stalls. Just like in real life, that NASCAR will throw a penalty towards a driver that just drive through other people's pit stalls. We're taking a look at that thing as well. If you get caught driving through more than 3 pit stalls, more than your own, you will get a black flag. You will be sent to the back. I think we just saw one of those guys being Thomas Lattimore, who was running top 10 right now. He just got a NOL, so probably we'll see a lot of that thing happening. Keep an eye on that. And I'm just amazed, Rudy, the sea of purple and pink that we have for this race is just unbelievable.
I know it. It is pretty wild. Here we go. We're about to get them going here again. We're restarting on lap 37. Pace car in. And Nelson Rivera, Chuck Harrell up there in second. And it looks like Anthony Thitchner trying to get a run on Chuck Harrell. Dropped it down to the bottom.
Chuck stayed out, so he's on old tires as well as Nelson, our leader. So the first different strategy of the race is being played right now. Let's see if those new fresh tires are going to make a lot of difference.
Well, he got a good run off of that high side and kept Jeremy Rubin back there. But look out, guys, because here comes Brian Wilderson and John Cottle. Cottle driving around Brian Wilderson on the bottom. He does complete the pass on him. Now he gives Jeremy Rubin a little bump in the rear end there, trying to get him going. But Jeremy kind of had to check up a little bit on that fuel.
Now we see Chuck Harrell getting a pretty good run on the outside, especially on the outside of turn 2. So he's not making it easy for those guys with fresh tires driving on the bottom. He's making them work.
Oh, Rubin out of shape. He's going to lose 2 spots right there as John Cottle and Brian Wilderson both drive by. I'm sorry, that wasn't Jeremy Rubin. That was Jay Adair. I apologize. My bad. It was Jay Adair that got loose. Justin Bland in 7th. Nathan Miller back into the 8th position. Scott Hunsinger coming alive here, passing up the number 78 of Ron Miller. Breaks the top 10 for the first time today. So he's closing that gap down. Chuck Harrell stuck up on the high side and going back pretty quick here, Luis, on them over.
Yeah, I think Chuck tried to stay out, hopefully that everybody else in front of him were going to pit so he can stay out and lead a lap. Nelson didn't bite, stay out on the outside, and then stay out. Why not? Let's see, still early. So pretty sure Chuck is just gathering data right now, seeing if he's getting what he wanted out of this, getting a lot of information that he's going to be able to use for the rest of the race.
Right, yeah.
Getting close to the end, if he's going to pull one of those things or not.
Right, yeah. It's really early. He can make up that. That's not an issue. So yeah, that's good. Way to. You got to try things. If you don't try things, got a lap car there, or somebody took it down low or something. Fitchner on the tail of Nelson Rivera has not led a lap yet today. Trying to get up there with him.
And Nelson on those old tires, he started up front, have a pretty good car, but I think we're starting to see a little bit of the wear and tear on those tires, especially on the rear tires, where you need a lot. You put a lot of pressure coming out of the turns, trying to get the speed up on those cars. So we're starting to see a little bit of better grip from Anthony, trying to push the envelope, see if he can get Nelson to give him a little bit of a room to go by and take the lead.
Anthony just dropped a little bit right there. We just seen. That was Scott Hunter. No caution. He's dropping like crazy. Can't even keep up. Matt Moritz on pit road. Must have been something with him and Matt Moritz on pit road. He's dropped way back. But I seen Scott Hunsinger. I thought I seen Scott Hunsinger do something too, but I guess not. Must have been Matt Moritz. I was trying to track him there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Matt lost control coming into the front stretch, got sideways, tried to control, got sideways again, then ended up on the grass and the bottom of the track, hit the inside wall, has some pretty significant damage on the left side, the left front. Hopefully he didn't damage the wheels. Everything's still up in the right place. He'll be able to join the track. But he's already 2 laps down.
Well, what do you think of this? Nelson Rivera and Anthony Fitchner pulling away from third place John Cottle by 1.8 seconds already. And Cottle out there in no man's land too. He's about a full second ahead of Brian Wilson right now.
That's the thing that is surprising me the most, Rudy. I know that Nelson got a pretty good jump by being the leader.
Oh, I just had to say that, and here he almost lost it. Sorry.
I don't think John hit the wall. Did he? I think.
No,
let's see.
No, he did not.
Wow, what a save.
He's going to lose a lot of positions here trying to get it back under full power. And he's going to have to kind of nurse them tires a little bit. He's not going to be able to put the hammer down like he was. He's got those tires a little angry right now. They're really hot and slippery, and he's going to have to be careful for a few laps and get them tires cooled off.
Well, we were talking on our quote-unquote production meeting before the race that the exit of turn 2, that's where we're going to see everything happening. That's where we're going to see all the power moves and the potential mistakes, because you don't have the extra space that you have when you're going into the front stretch.
Right.
So that outside wall comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, if you're in the middle of the turn and you just see that wall creeping in front of you, you kind of lose control. You take your foot out of the gas as fast as possible, get out of shape, try to do everything. That's what we saw with John Schweiker. That's what we saw with John Cottle right now, Jeremy Rubin. So we're seeing a lot of the guys just misjudge a little bit how fast that wall's coming, and that's where we're seeing a little bit of those mistakes.
All right, let's ride along here with Jay Adair real quick, and we'll just watch and just see how quick that wall does come up on you. Down the front stretch now, crosses the start-finish line into turn 1. Now you'll see this difference here coming out of turn 2. That wall is flat. It does not have that sweep to it like the front stretch does. And that wall comes up on you really quick. And I can see where that could be a problem.
Yeah, Rudy, and like we were talking before the race as well, we don't have here in Richmond the amount of banking that we have in mile-and-a-half tracks or even the super speedway, so you cannot see all the way up in front. So you're basically going into this turn completely blind to the outside of it. So you really have to nail the entrance of the track, of the turn. Make sure that you don't overdrive, don't get on that throttle soon, way too soon. Otherwise, you're going to be seeing the wall coming way too fast, and your right front's going to be right on it. So, but Jay's doing a pretty good job of being very subtle on that throttle. Make sure that he's controlling the speed. He's doing an awesome job. Won the race last night, so not a surprise to see him now driving in 7th place. He will be a contender if he keeps his car clean all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he knows his way to victory lane here, so we'll keep an eye on Jay. Kurt Quist back in 13th place, another one of the pink painted or purple painted cars, whatever you want to call it. And that is in memory of Nicole Johnson here, wishing her the well wishes. Ken Worley in 14th, and AJ Scarborough trying to work his way. He wants to get up into the top 10, but he does break top 15 here. So I look for AJ to get up there once this race gets wound down a little bit. Guys passing here. What was that? I just went by somebody that might have been some lap traffic or something.
Oh, we have a caution.
Yep, we do. Take a look.
It was in turn 3 and 4.
Mark Bratcher, right in front of traffic. Didn't hit the wall or anything. Good thing. Get a little bit better angle on this. Like coming out of the. Oh, he's out of that. Out of 2, okay. And this is where we usually don't see him. He got up a little too close to the wall there. May have had a distraction or something. Didn't hit his mark perfect, but kept it off of the wall, and that's the most important thing here. Do not get that damage on that car.
And he was pretty high on the track with no grip coming into 3 and 4. The back of the car just got away from him. Good thing that he kept the car clean, didn't hit anything, didn't hit at his driver. So he had some connection problems in the beginning of this race. He's now 11 laps back. I'm sorry. So trying to make his way back, get a couple of things, and he was doing his job. He was getting ahead, getting out of trouble, getting out of everybody else who was driving through. So just a small little issue, but he's good to go.
Pit stops are happening here. Pit road is just full of cars on new tires and everything. And Anthony Thitchner, Nelson Rivera, I don't know who won that race off of pit road.
That was a close one. That was an awesome one.
I think Anthony Thitchner won that off of pit road, so he's going to be our leader. Wow.
Yeah, he's a red in front of Nelson, so probably race control already told him you got the position.
Well, I think he got on that pit crew a little bit from last week, because remember last week his pit crew were like the slowest out there. So
they couldn't break 15 seconds to stop to save their lives.
And boy, now he must have got on that pit crew or something, or he's been doing a little practicing and got that a little bit better, 14.4. So they're working at it. As the race goes on, they'll get a little quicker. Nelson Rivera now had a very slow pit stop, 15-second pit stop. That was what we were seeing out of Anthony Thitchner last week.
And that was the difference, Rudy, in the race. If you remember last week, that last pit stop that they had at the end of the race, where Anthony entered the pits leading the race and came out in 5th. That was the difference. Came out in 6th, actually, on the bottom. That was the difference that made him stay stuck behind slower car than he had. Took a long time, burned the tires, and pretty much gave away the chance that he had to win the race. So I don't think he wants the same thing to happen here. I think he gave their guys a pretty good pep talk, and hopefully we'll see pretty good stops from him and towards the end of this race.
Right. Well, we've got a couple of guys still on pit road. Josh Sheets on pit road. Maybe cameraman, come on, figure it out. And Matt Moritz also on pit road. 2 drivers sitting there trying to get damage fixed up. I don't know exactly what happened to Josh Sheets. Have any details on that, Luis?
Josh got loose right at the beginning of the race. I think it was in lap 2. And he had the same thing happen to him that Matt Moritz had. He lost control in the front stretch, drove through the grass, hit the inside wall, but he kept it going. And I think he's just trying with the yellows, trying to get as much of that damage fixed as possible. So taking advantage a lot of the time that the pace car is going to be on the track. But they're ready to go. They're side by side already forming. I think they're going to go green this lap, Rudy.
All right, out there just a second. Get up here. I was looking at some of the damage on Josh's car there. It looks like it's all left front, so he may be able to get that fixed up there and get back out. All right, folks, pace car's in, and here we go. Anthony Thitchner takes the green flag. We're back underway here at Richmond.
That inside lane paying dividends for everybody who was starting there. Jeremy Rubin did a really good job staying close to Anthony. He's now driving in second place.
Yeah, now Nelson, he's going to have his hands full. He's been out there. He led the first 61 laps of this race.
Oh, they have a caution.
Out there in that clean air. So now he's in dirty air. That's going to make a little bit of a difference here. We got cars checking up. Let's see what happened there. Catch up with
the
him.
one of John Schweiker, he's involved, Rudy.
Get up here.
John Cottle in the 07 tapped him going into 3 and 4, and that's the number 1. He got a little bit of a lick on Michael Kinner in the 74 when he was trying to stop the car. That's what happened.
Yep. Yeah, Schweikert actually sideways in the turn. That would be turn 4. So right at the entrance of pit road, he's sideways and spinning. Yep, tough break for John Schweikert being the punching bag out here tonight, boy, and he just got damaged. Yeah, him and Michael Kinner I'm sorry, did I say Michael Kinner?
Kinner actually got into him after John was trying to save the car, trying to figure out where he was going to go. Got a little bit of damage after John was coming back down the track, but John Cottle was also involved and that was the one that got the number 1 spinning.
Right. All right, back up front here, Anthony Thitchner still in the lead, wants to get this thing going here and get more green flag lap. He's got a lot of laps to try to get out here and lead the most laps like he led last week. That was really disappointing for him to lead the most laps last week. I forget how many, a bunch, and to not win the race. Bad call on pit road. He did have slow pit stops, and we talked to him after the race there about that, and he said he was going to have a little meeting with his pit crew and do a little practicing on pit road, so hopefully it does work out for him. He did see some pretty quick pit stops so far this race.
Yeah, I think he led 176 laps out of the 300 that we had, so total domination by him. Rudy, what do you say we try to bring the 34 of Jeremy Rubin here for a little chat? Let me see if I can find him here.
Go for it.
Hey, Jeremy, Louise here in the broadcast booth. Got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing? You started up front in second place, drop a little bit out of the restart on that outside. Now that you're restarted on the inside, find yourself in second place. How's the car doing? How's the track? How's the racing?
On the short run, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but on the long runs, it picks up and it goes. I love this thing on long runs. I'm able to flat foot it off the corners. I'm having fun out here.
Well, we know that you can drive in qualifying. We saw that. How is the track compared to the practice laps that you guys were doing? Is it picking up rubber? Is it getting tight? Is it getting loose? What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge during the course of the race?
Biggest challenge is going to be pretty much keeping up with the track. I was curious to see if the outside line is going to come in, but I don't think it is. Being on the inside, it just kind of pinches you down too much, and on the outside, you can't get off the corners because there's no grip up there. But I'm having fun out here. The low line's definitely the place to be. On the restarts, you want to start low because it's hard to get, kind of like Martinsville, you can't get down on that inside line.
Well, you guys are ready to restart. Go get them. I'll move you back up. Good luck for you. Hopefully, we'll talk to you after the race.
Yes, sir. Hopefully this curse doesn't hit me either.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right, here we go. Pace car's in, and Anthony Thitchner right on that loud pedal. He gets a good start. Jeremy Rubin in second, and here comes Nelson Rivera on the bottom. And he does take over second spot back from Jeremy Rubin. Nathan Miller moves into fourth. He's turning up the heat here early on. I didn't expect this out of Nathan at all, Luis. I thought, he would kind of hold back a little while like he did last week and just slowly work his way to the front. But here he is, right up in the fourth position. Brian Wilson in fifth.
I don't think that's a sight that everybody else, all the other drivers wanted to see. Nathan's normally a driver that drives the first half of the race very conservative, trying to save the car, studying, almost like playing chess with everybody else. To see him up front that early, probably that shows that he has a pretty good car under him. So that is not the easiest thing in the world for everybody else to see. They probably think, oh boy, here we go again. We're going to have to deal with this 88 all night.
We just had one spin out across the grass there, George Munger, but he saves it, gets it back going, but he's going to go clear back to 30th place, Luis, tail end of the lap. Oh, man. And we got a change for the lead. Nelson Rivera, as he gets around Anthony Thitchner. Nelson, I don't know, he must have made some adjustments on that car or something and tuned it up a little bit. Of course, he does have them new tires. That helps.
Yeah, and Anthony got a little bit of the wall, Rudy, going into the front stretch. We could see a little bit of sparkles coming through when he was right up against that wall. So he lost a little bit of speed coming into the turn. That was just the opening that Nelson needed to dive to the bottom, get the position. As you can see, Anthony's right there on the 77 sail again. This is shaping up to be one of those heavyweight fights, Rudy. I don't think they want to give each other any room. They're all going to go for the win.
Oh, they're saying that I'm almost mute. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. Oh, somebody... Josh Witherspoon said I was almost mute on here. I don't know. And it's cranked right up. Can't get any more sound out of it than what I'm pushing right now. Nathan Miller now goes into third. Brian Wilson goes into fourth as they both pass up Jeremy Rubin.
Yeah, one driver that I'm really impressed with, Rudy, right now is the number 08 of Thomas Lattimore. Thomas started all the way up in 4th or 5th place, had a penalty, driving through multiple pit stalls, started all the way in the back a couple laps ago. He's already back running 9th, so watch out for Thomas. Back at ECR, ran his first race of the year last week at Bristol, ran a pretty fast, pretty consistent pace. He's back fighting for position, now diving to the inside of Stephen Massey, his teammate.
Yes, sir, and he will take that position away from Stephen easily. Just a good piece of driving right there. Guys giving each other plenty of room out there on the track. Massey goes back to 9th. Scott Hunsinger in 10th. Go back in the field here ways. Michael Leiby running in 23rd. Followed by Doug Hess. This is one heck of a battle going on back here. We were almost 3 wide in that group. I'll tell you what, that was a little bit exciting right there for a minute. I think them guys were thinking the same thing. And here we go again, 3 wide.
3 wide again.
Whoa. Michael Leiby sticking it right in there. Weichert in 24th. We're hoping that damage that John got, that little bit, it's not much, but they don't, aerodynamics don't really mean a whole lot here tonight, but as long as it didn't knock the toe out of that car or anything, he should be okay. He does have a little damage on that left front corner.
Yeah, we can see through the hood of that car a little bit, but it looks like his wheels are good. He seems to be keeping up the pace and trying to move by the 22 of Tony DeGennaro now, going into 1 and 2. So he seems to be keeping up the same speed, even not 100% with that number 1 machine.
Yeah. And you know as well as I do, Luis, sometimes the cars actually drive better sometimes after they get a little damage on them.
Absolutely. We worry so much about handling, about mechanical grip, that sometimes when something like that happens, it gives you lose a little bit of that care. They're like, oh, you know what? This thing's already pounded, it's already damaged. I'm just going to drive the hell out of this and try to go as fast as I can. Normally, we see guys go even faster when they think the car is damaged because they think they have nothing to lose. Why not? I'm just going to go and give everything that I got.
There you go. Another passing up the number 16 there of Matt Moritz at 23 laps down. Still got some pretty heavy damage on him, but he'll get that fixed up here hopefully by the end of the race and be back in contention. But riding along here with Brandon Simmons, driving a Ford this week and doing quite well. He's running in 13th position, so good job for Brandon Simmons. He's right behind Chuck Harrell, which we've seen Chuck up there in the front earlier.
Chuck now has the same type of tires that everybody else. He pitted together with everybody. So I think he got what he wanted. He got the information. Now he sees that, you know what? I think I have the pace to run with this group. If I can get on the same pace, on the same pitch cycle, I might just have something for these guys later in the run. And Rudy, if we take a look all the way up in the front, Nelson Rivera is now up almost 2 seconds ahead of Anthony Tichenor. And Anthony is now falling behind as he's getting passed by Nathan Miller going into 1 and 2. So I don't know if Anthony did something to the car or did not adjust it the way that he wanted. So he's losing ground to Nelson on this new run.
Yeah, and Nelson's loving every minute of that when them guys are racing back there. That's giving him that little bit of extra cushion to pull away from them guys. And it looks like Nathan's kind of backed off now. Anthony passed him right back, so Nathan does go back to third. And it's quite a ways back to Jeremy Rubin now. As he's trying to get back up here with them guys. Started second today on the front row of the beginning of the race, and finds himself back in fourth. One I was looking for here, Chris Sercoy. You were talking about Chris earlier in the race. That Mr. Where did he come from? Chris Sercoy, but he's running in 29th, still on the lead lap, but he's really not that far ahead of the leaders, only about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of the leaders, so they will be coming around here right directly.
But that's a typical Chris Sercoy race, Rudy.
Yep.
Oh, he goes down a lap, he comes back, he stays out, get a lap back, it gets a little bit of damage, then he fixes. All of a sudden, look at the top 10. Who's there? Chris Sercoy. So he's one of those guys that we really don't look and really don't care where he's running until it's 10 to go, 5 to go, because we know that he's going to find his way and finish in the top 10, top 15 every week.
Yes, sir. Jeremy Rubin still in fourth. Justin Bland passes up Brian Wolfson. He goes into the top 5. We are seeing some passing going on out there right now, Luis, so this is good. You know, the guys are, as they get a little bit longer green flag run-in, see the cars are feeling a little bit better on the track. Well, most of them anyhow. And they're able to make it stick where they want it to and complete those passes. So, and the guys giving a lot of room and respect out there on the track really helps out a lot.
Yeah, we heard from Jeremy when he was up here interviewing with us that he thinks he has a pretty good long run setup. He's pulling away from Justin. He's almost a second ahead of Justin, and he's slowly getting time out of Nathan. Nathan already right behind Anthony. They're more than 2 seconds behind from Nelson. So we're starting to see a little bit of the difference in strategy, a little bit of difference in setup. And this is where the thing gets interesting, because the longer we go, fuel, the window here of fuel is just like we saw last week, is a pretty long fuel window. Over 80 laps they can go on fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see when we go deep into these runs, who's going to be that first guy to pull right on cue, right as I was saying something.
Douglas Hess right there wrecking. Let's take a look here and see what happened to him. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but caution, come on.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we go green, we might just see green flags pit stops. Right on cue, there's a yellow.
Yeah. It looks like he just got loose coming off of turn 2. He is going to tag the wall a pretty good lick right here. Crunches in that front end. He almost had it stopped. Yes, everybody looks like leader is going to bring everybody to pit road here.
Yeah, Doug tapped the wall going into on that inside, but we don't see any smoke coming out of his car, so hopefully that is just cosmetic. That had anything to do with the engine. So hopefully he's going to be fine towards the duration of this race.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. It's just, like you said, a little cosmetic damage. He'll be all right. Well, the leader bringing them all to pit road looks like Chuck Harrell maybe staying out.
Yeah, he tried last time, trying to stay out to lead a lap. Let's see if he's going to do the same thing this time.
Michael Libby must have did a drive-through right there because he comes out in second place, first one off of pit road, but I don't believe he stopped. I think he missed his pit stall.
Let me double check that for you right now. 2 seconds, I'll confirm that.
I think he might have missed the pit stall, but he is staying out. He'll be restarting second here. Nelson Rivera.
Yep. He just drove through pit stops. Nothing, didn't pull in or did anything like that.
Interesting. Nelson Rivera will restart third. Anthony Thitchner fourth. Nathan Miller fifth. Jeremy Rubin sixth. Justin Bland seventh. Ryan Wilson eighth. Scott Hunsinger ninth. And Thomas Lattimore start 10th.
Rudy, another driver that stay out, and he is still on the track unless he pulls down a pit. Oh, there he goes. They're killing me every time that I'm going to say something. They're killing me right on cue. I was just going to say that Chuck was still on the track. Now he pulls into the pits. Got the lead lap that he wanted. Got the bonus point. Now he's going to go for fresh tires.
Now Michael Libby collects a bonus point. He stayed out there too. And I'm just kind of wondering now if he's going to come to pit road the next lap. That'll put him back at the tail end of the field because I believe there will be a penalty in that be pitting on a closed pit, I believe.
That's correct, Rudy. That is exactly the penalty. If you do enter a closed pit, you're given an EOL. You need to drive to the end of the longest line. So I think he's just going to stay out unless he knows that that's the penalty and he knows that he's going to go all the way to the back, which I think that's what he's going to do.
Yep, he's going to come to pit road.
Yep.
Give the lead back up to Nelson Rivera.
That is a smart play by Michael, Rudy, because he was going to drive all the way to the back anyway if he pitted. Stayed out, got a lead lap, pits. He ends up, and he's going to have the fresher of all the tires. So he had nothing to lose. Why not go in, get fresh rubber, stay on the same pit cycle, and go back to the track with a fighting chance. And Rudy, we have another penalty for driving through the pit stalls this time. The 43 of Jay Adair. He was running top 12. He's now all the way back. He's going to have to dig all the way back.
Well, pace car's in, and here we go. Green, green, green. And Anthony Thitchner did not get a good start that time. Nathan Miller now on the inside. These guys got all fresh tires and up here and everything, so we're going to have to see. This is going to be a battle. Anthony's not going to give that up. He's trying to keep Nathan pinned right down there on that bottom and make him use his tires. And that's exactly what he did. Anthony Titchener will regain second position.
Yeah, Rudy, on the restart, I don't know what happened, but Stephen Massey going into 3 and 4, he drove all the way to the apron trying to avoid collecting Thomas Lattimore going into 3 and 4. He had one of the craziest saves we've seen today, driving through the apron, rejoining the track, and still keeping his position.
That's pretty good. That doesn't happen every day, I can tell you
It
that.
doesn't.
You better count his blessings on that one. Well, he's got a good run on Scott Hunsinger here, and he hasn't quite cleared him yet. Drag race down the front stretch and into turn 1. Hunsinger still there. Massey can't complete that pass. Now it looks like he is, and he brings John Cottle right with him. Cottle to the inside of Hunsinger. Hunsinger trapped up on that high side, can't get down into the groove. And now they clear him, so now maybe he can get back down into the race groove. There he goes. Hunsinger goes back to 9th. They're losing a couple of positions just in a couple laps. Brandon Simmons breaking the top 10. And here's a guy that's come out of nowhere right here, Luis. Sean Medling in 11th place. As you can see here, started 26th on the field and has worked himself into 11th place. Man, what can you say about that?
Sean Medling's probably one of the best drivers that we have, especially in long run situations. Sean is part of the same team that Anthony Titchener, Thomas Lattimore, and Stephen Massey. So he comes from a pretty good stable, has a pretty good setup on that car. He started 26th, right? Just like Sean always does. He almost never qualifies. He likes to start the races in the back, feel the car, feel the rhythm of the race, and the moment he thinks he has the right situation, he starts to move up. We saw that especially during this year's race in Las Vegas. He had a pretty strong race. We're seeing it again as he tries to go by John Cuttle. I think John Cuttle has a small incident in the front stretch there, Rudy. I think he lost the car.
I was looking here, Josh Witherspoon, second into points. Worked himself into 17th. Now in a battle here with Kurt Quist. Those two have been battling for quite a few laps. And he just cannot completely get that pass completed on Kurt Quist. They're door to door about every lap here. And it looks like maybe he might have got it that time finally.
Yeah, I think now he got it. Yeah.
Yep. Finally clearing Kurt Quist, and he will go into 16th. Good run for Josh Witherspoon. Titchener now 3/4 of a second back behind Nelson Rivera. Oh boy, he was really loose coming off of that turn. Wow. He's doing everything he can right now to try to catch Nelson Rivera. And, you know, he's pushing that car harder, I think, than he's pushed it all race long. I just wonder, Luis, if there's anything he could do to try to tighten that car up a little bit and make it to where it's not quite so loose coming out of the turn.
He can play a little bit around with tire pressures just like they did, I think, if everybody who watched the NASCAR race on Sunday. Kevin Harvick was complaining a lot about that, and also Jimmy Johnson was complaining. And even Dale Jr. thought that he was loose everywhere all around the track. So they tried a lot of different air pressure combinations, mess around with the track bar in the car. So if he can figure out the right adjustment, pretty sure he can do that. Anthony is one of the best drivers we have in figuring out what the track's about to do. So I think he's playing around with those adjustments, seeing what he does. And he's keeping an eye on Nelson just to see how Nelson's driving. So he's not letting Nelson drive that far off. So The one thing that is concerning me, Rudy, he keeps hitting the wall coming out of turn number 4. he tapped that thing two or three other times. So hopefully he doesn't get too close to that wall. If he does, we might see some damage on the right side of that machine.
Well, I've seen him down there on that yellow line quite a few times, and it seems like that's really upsetting that car. Now, I know there is some tracks out there. Sometimes the guys use that yellow line as kind of a, no, I'm not going to say an exploit. That's not the right word to say, but as a helping guide. Sometimes it'll help you turn better just by using that yellow line. But I just seen him catch it there a minute ago, and it made that back end of that car really loose. About 4 laps ago, I was watching as you were talking there, Nathan Miller tapped the wall. So these guys are really racing it up hard here to try to keep up with Nelson Rivera. And Justin Bland is coming.
Here we have our race winner at Phoenix and Nelson Rivera, our race winner in Bristol and Nathan Miller, our race winner in Martinsville and Justin Glenn. So all 3 guys that won our short tracks this year, they're all running top 4. And Anthony Titchener, that dominated Bristol last week, probably should have won that race. So this is not a coincidence that these guys are running up front, as we have another caution.
Yep. Oh, Douglas Hess again, into the wall hard. Looks like he lost it coming out of the turn, and everybody is trying to dodge him. Let's take a look and see what happened to Doug Hess.
Yeah, he hit the wall coming out of 2.
Boy, it just seems like it really does a number on them cars when you hit the wall. It got extremely loose right there. It's like the car just broke on him. I don't know if that was a throttle thing or what, but he was straight coming out of the turn. All of a sudden, the car just started going to the right on him. Tried to correct, he overcorrected, and the car just come right into the wall, and he hit it really, really hard that time. I don't know how much damage he's going to have, but I'm telling you what, he's got pretty significant damage on that car now.
And Rudy, following ECR rules, this is something that we do have in place. When you are responsible for 2 yellow flags, you do get disqualified for the race. So in this case, this is the second spin that Doug has made. He's the second EOL penalty that he's going to get. So because of this, he is now disqualified from the race. He had some pretty significant damage on that car anyway. I'm not sure if he was going to be able to fix it, everything. But with that spin, he's now been disqualified. His night's going to end around the 30th position.
Yep. Well, Nelson Rivera comes off first, Nathan Miller second, and Justin Bland now goes into third ahead of Anthony Titchener pit road. What a pit stop. And Anthony back to that 15.7 second pit stop. What is up with that pit crew?
Yeah, I'm gonna scream down to his pit boss here. Put on MaxSpeedTV. They're gonna hear us screaming. Come on, guys, pick it up, pick it up. That 87's gonna get pissed if you guys lose him another race.
Well, I'm gonna drag him down here. We're gonna talk with him. He probably won't want to talk to us. Anthony Titchener, you got a copy?
I got a copy, but
what is up with that pit crew of yours?
Oh, it's been awesome all day long till right there. First time I've even had a 13. It's been 12s the whole race. Yeah. I made a few adjustments right there, so that might have had a little bit to do with it.
Okay. Well, because we were watching. I mean, a big improvement over last week's pit stops, I got to say, but that pit stop there was pretty bad. But you did lose that second or third position to Nathan Miller and Justin Bland, and we know them guys are pretty hot out there. You have anything for Nelson Rivera? Man, that guy's on a rail today.
Yeah, I feel like if I can figure out how to not slide on exit and be able to hit the gas and not let off, we'll have something. He's getting me on the exits. I need a little bit of better rotation on entry in the middle, and if I'm not sliding on exit, and I'll be able to get him. But just trying to figure it out right now. We'll get back to second. Then we got to roll him in.
All right. Well, good luck, Anthony.
Thanks, guys.
Pretty optimistic. That's good.
Well, and you call it right on the money, Rudy. You saw that he was sliding coming out of the turns, and you call it right on the spot. If he can make the exit of the run stick, he's probably going to be up there with Nelson.
All right, well, they're doubling up here. We're going back green this time, folks, so get ready for more action here as we're actually a little past the halfway mark.
Yeah, Rudy, we're just getting word here that Anthony Titchener now receives a penalty for driving through pit stalls.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, pace car's in. Nelson Rivera and Nathan Miller, seems like they just went right on cue together. They got a pretty good start there over Justin Bland. Nelson Rivera has led 112 laps right now, so, man, I really don't think, well, probably here in about another 8 laps, nobody will be able to top that, because we have had a couple other leaders. Yeah, he'll clinch the most laps led. Justin Bland out of the inside, and Nathan Miller for position. We're seeing Justin Bland kick it up here one more notch. I think he found 5th gear in that car.
Yeah, Justin's part of that coalition that involves a couple of other teams, especially 3 or 4 of those guys coming right behind Nathan in Thomas, in Jeremy Rubin, in Stephen Massey. So those guys all kind of share technology and share a couple of setups, just like Gibbs Racing has with Furniture Row and Hendricks has with Stewart Haas. So we see a lot of those things. But we're seeing a lot of those guys driving the same setups drive to the front.
Oh, Justin Bland's caught up on that high side. Nathan Miller making a run here to try to get by him on the low side, and he just can't get the run off of the turn like Justin Bland can. And he's really having a tough time clearing him right now.
Justin has a pretty good rotation in the middle of that turn that allows him to be very, very close to Nathan on the bottom. He's not sliding up, and I don't know, maybe his crew chief needs to talk with Anthony's crew chief, because it seems like Justin has a pretty good drive off the turns.
I'm looking back here, Anthony Titchener picking them off one at a time back here. Now back up to the 20th position already. So coming. John Schweikert, another one that we were watching that did get a little damage earlier, had been involved in a couple of incidents there. He spun once and got spun another time. So, and we have another caution.
Wow, and this was a big one.
Ouch, yes, it was. Massey into it. And looks like the 08 of Thomas Lattimore. Go back and take a look at this. Ow. Yeah.
Rudy, actually, this started with Justin Bland coming out of 3 and 4. Him and Nathan were fighting extremely hard. Justin cuts the wall coming out of turn and loses a lot of speed. Everybody behind had nowhere to go.
Exactly what happened. Lattimore going to get into the inside wall, and that's going to collect Stephen Massey, and both of them get some serious airtime. John Cottle driving through that. I don't know how John Cottle drove through that. That was amazing driving right there. I got to go back and watch this, because we're going to watch this out of John Cottle's windshield, because I bet you he was like on top of that going, oh no, here comes some big damage. Trying to catch up with him here. And let's check it out from his point of view here. This is going to look amazing, folks.
Wow.
Look at this here. He's got a car coming down in front of him, and he skinnies through both of them cars. Unbelievable driving right there, and luck.
Well, let's just call the producer to Fast and Furious right now, because we might just have their next action sequence, because that was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, one more time here. I got to watch this from the chase view, and we'll As you'll see, these guys are flipping here. Stephen Massey and who is that? The '08 Thomas Lattimore, and you just know he's going to get damage. And how he makes it through them was like threading the needle. I'm telling you what, very, very lucky. Very lucky.
And Rudy, big shout out to everybody on the field. The moment that they saw that crash happening in front of it, race control was very fast on alerting everybody that they had a pretty big crash on the entrance in 1. Everybody else coming from behind pretty much stopped going into 1 and 2. So they knew how to check up.
Well, we got John Cottle in the booth with us here. John, I'm telling you, you just threaded the needle there, brother.
Oh my God, that was so close, man.
I don't know, man. We looked at that from about 3 different camera angles, and it was, I mean, inches on both sides of you. Did it show any X's? Did you get any incidents on that?
I got incidents, but I have no damage from it. And what I saw was I went right up under a car, so I'm just like, oh.
I know it. Yeah, Thomas Lattimore went right over you. I'm like, whoa. Like I said, we watched that 3 or 4 times there from different camera angles, and man, I'll tell you what, you just threaded the needle through that. Well, how's your race going for you out there today, John?
Pretty good, except for a loose race car, but it keeps wanting to spin out on me, but I keep saving it, so hopefully we can keep it up under us till the end of the race. That's all I'm trying to do right now.
All right. Well, hopefully you have the luck that you just had on that one right there for the rest of the race, because that had to have been the closest that we've seen anybody, keep from getting into a wreck right there. That was unreal. And it's like Luis said, that would be a good one for, what did you call it, Luis?
For the next Fast and Furious movie. I'm pretty sure you're going to get a call, John. Get a couple of pointers how to do that.
All right. Good luck out there, John.
Thank you, man.
All right. Nelson Rivera still in command. Lights are out on the pace car. And we got Nathan Miller up there on the outside of the front row with him. We're going to be restarting here on lap 140, folks, so 100 to go.
Everybody, that caution took Thomas Lattimore and Stephen Massey out of contention. So 2 of the strongest guys that we had up until this point, they're now pretty much out of the race.
Oh, man. All right, green, green, green. Good start by Nelson Rivera. Boy, he has just been a rocket ship out here today, I'll tell you. It seems like nobody's been able to do anything with him. And he does clinch the most laps led here today. He's got 122 under his belt right now.
Yeah, as we see Jeremy Rubin, who's restarted 5th on that bottom lane. He's now challenging Scott Hunsinger for that 3rd spot. Scott was hanging out to dry on that outside, trying to keep Jeremy from getting the position, but the 34 just have the better line coming out of 2, and he's now driving 3rd.
John Cottle now side by side with Hunsinger. He is trying to get the 4th position away from Hunsinger. And I believe he might have it here. He doesn't have it at the line, but hasn't completed the pass on him just yet. Hunsinger pretty tough on that outside, but Cottle does get by him and goes into 4th.
And Rudy, look at who Scott has on his rearview mirror now, diving to the inside. Anthony Tishner and that 87. He's wasting no time driving through that field up, going back towards the front.
Well, the thing of it is they're getting down to the point here. They know that the clock is ticking. They've only got X amount of laps to get this thing done. And he wants to get up there and challenge Nelson Rivera for this win. After such a dominating performance last week and having very bad pit stops last week, now here's something that might be a little bit of an interest to you. On that pit stop, he only took 2 tires.
Wow.
So he did it for track position only.
And he drove by John Cottle. And one guy that he's bringing with him is John Schweiker in that number 1.
Yeah, now John does have a little bit of damage on his car, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the performance of it. He seems to be okay. I think right now he's just trying to kind of feel out how much damage, he's assessing it here as they turn more and more laps. And I'm sure he's trying to work on adjusting that car to compensate for the damage that's on it, and slowly getting it worked on each and every pit stop. So he's got it fixed up almost all the way. Just taking a few seconds here and there. But John also only did a 2-tire stop on that.
Yeah, I think he saw Anthony right in front of him, took his line, and said, you know what? If he's going for it, I'm going for it. Let's try to get to the front together. Right. And so far, it's paying off for them.
Yeah, right now, 2 tires might be something that, it could be in a test mode here to see how that's going to work out if it comes down to tires at the end of this race. 2 tires and for track position. Oh, Schweiker out of shape, and he's going to lose a bunch. Wow, he just dropped a couple of positions right there, and he's not done yet. Here comes Josh Witherspoon and Michael Guidry, Ron Miller now on the inside of him. Oh, he is extremely loose coming out of the turns.
Yeah, the same thing that happened to him when he went around in turns 1 and 2 early in the race, where the same thing happened to him going into 3 and 4. He tapped the brakes, the back of the car just came loose. He did a pretty good job holding the car, not letting it go around, touched the wall, still going strong, but he lost a lot of positions.
Yes, he did. Kurt Quist was trying to get by him there. He was side by side with John for a little while, and now Kurt kind of backed off a little bit. I think he figured out, if I'm up there like that, I'm going to just chew these tires up. And he's getting passed up by Ken Worley. Ken on the outside. We can't get a better shot of this. Ken Worley coming up through in the number 99 car. We've seen Ken up there earlier, and now he's trying to... Oh, we got one that spun.
That was Jeremy Rubin.
Yes, it was. And Jeremy's going to lose a few positions. He gets it back underway.
Yeah, he barely touched the inside wall. Same thing, Rudy. Turn 2. Turn 2 is plaguing everybody tonight.
Yep, that's what we're going to see. And you were right when you said that earlier, Luis, about turn 2 being the turn that we want to watch. And man, it's showing it here tonight. So back up front here, Nelson Rivera with a 1.4 second lead over Nathan Miller. And Anthony Thitchner battling up here. John Cottle coming around and passing up the lap car there of Michael Leiby. Michael back in 27th place, the first car a lap down. If a caution comes out, he would get back on the lead lap as long as he's not involved in it.
One driver that we need to start to pay attention to, Rudy, in this final stages, as they are now 86 laps to the finish, is the number 79 of Joshua Witherspoon. He's quietly making his way towards the front. He's now driving 8th. His car is pretty clean. He's one of the teammates of John Kahlo and Justin Glenn, so we know that setup's pretty fast. He's slowly making his charge. He will not surprise me, depending on if we have a couple more yellows, to see him fight for that one of those top 5 that he's become accustomed to getting at ECR this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's I was just going to say that here just a few minutes ago. Now he goes into 8th position, but yeah, you are right. He has been quietly moving up there, just quietly. And I mean, that's what you got to do. Consistency is what's going to win a championship. We got another caution. That would be Tony DeGennaro spinning it sideways in front of traffic. Everybody dodging him. The leaders all come by. He's trying to get it going, but with all the traffic out there, he's having a difficult time.
Yeah, race control is telling him to stay put, just let everybody by. Now he's rejoining the track. He didn't hit anything, kept the car from hitting both the outside and the inside wall. So just, once again, turn 2, being tricky, playing games with our drivers. But it's a good thing to see that the 22 didn't have any damage. He was going to be able to rejoin the track and get that lap back in a little bit.
Well, leader's going to bring them all to pit road. Everybody coming down pit road here. Nelson Rivera, Nathan Miller, Anthony Titchener, John Cottle, Scott Hunsinger. Everybody coming in.
This is going to be a very important stop, Rudy, because we're getting close to the end. We're now almost 80 laps to the finish. This is where that one of those last adjustments might come into place. So if you're not happy with your car, this might be one of your last chances to get that thing adjusted.
All right. And it looks like they're going to come out pretty much about the way they went in. Nelson Rivera will hang on to that lead, or the lead. 141 laps he's led right now. Nathan Miller just sitting there like a vulture right now, just waiting. You kind of wonder what he's got planned up here. Is it going to be a repeat of last week? He's just going to let whoever's out there think they're going to win the race, and he's just going to race it up here, like in the last 10 laps and take over that lead and steal that win away from Nelson? Oh, boy.
That would not surprise me at all, Rudy. I'm pretty sure that will not surprise you either. So.
Nope, it would not. Not after last week's performance. That was, man, I'll tell you what, that was so good a racing. I haven't seen racing like that in a while. It was really good.
Rudy, look who's sitting now in the 4th position.
Yeah.
You called his name earlier, saying that you were very, very impressed. Look at Sean Medling, 73. Another guy that we're saying very quietly now in the top 5. And you know what? If there's a driver that knows how to get as much as he can out of a situation, that's Sean Medling. He's a teammate of Anthony. So I'm pretty sure they're talking on the radio going, what are we going to do to get by this 88 and try to get by to see if we can contend with Nelson? So they're pretty sure they're talking, trying to come up with a pretty good strategy.
I'm sure they've got something in mind, now that everybody's out there on fresh tires. And again, Anthony with a kind of a slow pit stop. Man, he's got to get on them boys. 15.3 seconds I'm showing here on the pit stop. Of course, this isn't real accurate. I got to say that. But, I mean, in comparison to these other guys like Nelson Rivera, a second quicker in pit stall, I mean, that's a lot. Sean Medling with a 13.5-second pit stop. That's a second and a half, or 1.8 seconds quicker than Anthony Titchener.
Yeah. Well, Rudy, now's Anthony's chance. He's restarting on the inside with Nathan starting on the outside. Unless Nathan and Nelson can coordinate another restart like they've been doing the last 2 restarts, this might be the opening that Anthony needs to put this car on the bottom, get around him, and see if he can follow that 77, hoping for contend towards the win. Let's see how they're going to go.
Yes, sir. We're about to get the green right here. Pace car's in. Nelson Rivera waiting, and they get a good start. Nathan
that was
Miller
an awesome jump.
Start. Nathan knew what was going to transpire there, and he's going to come right down in front of Anthony. Well, almost, but he is really trying to hold on to second. Anthony stays in behind Nathan and stays in third for now. Everybody on these new tires, they've got to make these moves quick as the tires come in quick like that and utilize them. Michael Guidry, look at Guidry up into the top 6. He's come from in the back of the field too. He started 24th today. So he's
we were asleep on him. We didn't notice where he came from. All of a sudden, sneaking up on the top 6.
And Josh Witherspoon, second in points, coming in tonight. Now into the top 7 and looking to the inside here of Guidry. We might see a pass in store here. I don't know. He's got some pretty good runs on that bottom. Witherspoon.
Rudy, you can tell that these guys are picking up. The intensity is heating up. We just saw Chuck Harrow tried to go by Brendan Simmons. In the very next corner, Chuck lost the car, drove through the field on the front of the front stretch. So these guys, they don't care. They see the laps, they're counting it down. They know this is time to go.
Yeah, Chuck Harrow actually fell clear back to 25th after that, so he's well off the pace now, trying to make that back up. He comes up on Ken Ron. I'm sorry, that's Chris Surcois. I was looking at Chris Surcois coming up on Ken Ron, but Ken Ron now on the high side, Chris Surcois on the bottom.
Chuck doesn't seem to have a lot of damage in that car, so we saw him stay out, and he got a pretty good run out of those old tires. So you never know. Maybe that's what he's going to have to do.
Yep. He's got a lap under his belt, so he did collect a bonus point. That's exactly what he wanted to go out there and do. And this is he's making some passing. He's trying to make a run on Ken Ron right now, so he's working it. Back up front, Nathan Miller now with about a 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second on Anthony Thitchner. Hunsinger goes into fourth as he gets around Sean Medling. And Josh Witherspoon
that's a team.
Did get by.
Scott.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So we have a car. He was spinning around in 1 and 2. That was the 46 on Mark Bratcher. He ran around right in front of the leaders going into 1 and 2. So it was a pretty dangerous situation for our leaders going into 1 and 2 because he was trying to get out of the way. He drove all the way to the apron as our leaders were driving by. So pretty dangerous situation, but a very heads-up move by Mark Bratcher to get this car back to the pits.
Well, we've still got 26 drivers on the track, and they're all on the lead lap. Last one on the lead lap, Michael Leiby. And boy, that car looks like it's been through a war zone, I'll tell you. He's got damage just about on all four
everywhere.
But he's making the best of it, you know. I mean, to stay on the lead lap here is a plus, you know. I mean, he was a lap down just a few laps ago, and he must have got the wave by on that caution. All right, back up here on the leader. Let's take a look at the race summary here, folks. We've had 8 cautions tonight for 39 laps. That's pretty good for 172 laps.
Rudy, we almost had one of those decisive moments in the race happening. Anthony Titchner was right behind Nathan Miller coming out of turn 2. All of a sudden, the back of his car just went around. He saved the car from hitting the outside and the inside wall, but he's now dropped back a 1.5 seconds behind the number 88. Quite the drive by 87 by Anthony Titchner, but he lost a lot of ground. I don't think he's quite there yet with the adjustments that he was looking for.
Right. Yep. And we're watching Nathan Miller here. He is 1 second behind Nelson Rivera. And Nelson coming up on some lap traffic does put Michael Leiby a lap down. And Michael's going to stay out of the way and give Nathan Miller that bottom. Nathan clears him. And he did pick up about a 1/10 on Nelson right there. So, you know, he knows the clock is ticking here. He knows the laps are winding down. He's got to think about his strategy here. And we know that Nathan is one for the tire conservative. I'm telling you, I've never seen anybody that can conserve tires like Nathan Miller can. We haven't talked about all night long, Jai Hatterick. Back here in 16th position. He's put himself in pretty good position. Brian Wilson now getting by Michael Kinner. Kinner with an awful lot of damage on the nose of that car. Wow, that thing is toast on the front. He's doing quite well. Kurt Quist now coming up on him.
Yeah, that damage goes all the way back when he got together with John Schweiker.
Yep.
So Michael Kinner battling as much as he can. You can see the wheel of that car going side to side. His hands are all over the place doing everything he can to stay in front of Kurt Quist in the number 95 machine.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Michael Kinner right now, and you can see the hood sticking up in front of him. He's got to look out that windshield and see that. And he's trying to find a good happy medium here in the turns where that car feels comfortable and feels like it can make that turn without any issue. And the two different distinctive turns of turn 2, you got to come out of turn 2 different than turn 4. That flat wall on that backstretch. So doing quite well. Schweikert now gets by Kurt Quist, and now he's chasing down Michael Kenner. And those two have raced around each other for a long time. So we may see a good battle there between those two here before the end of this race. Schweikert loose coming off of turn 4, as we've been seeing him do quite a bit here tonight.
Yeah, those are two drivers that if we could have an ECR radioactive right now going and pick up the microphone of those two drivers, we were probably going to have one of the most entertaining shows on television, because those are two guys that know each other quite well and love talking trash one to one another.
Yeah. Chris Steele into the 22nd place. George Munger 23rd. And we have
another caution. Yes.
On it right there. Brandon Simmons going around. And man, he just looped it coming off of, I believe that's turn 2. Looped it around. We'll go back and take a look quick.
A very similar incident than what happened with Tony DeGennaro a couple laps ago, Rudy. Same type of thing. Got loose, lost control, avoid hitting the wall, parked the car in the middle so he wouldn't collect anybody else, waited for an opening, and rejoined the track.
Very good. Well, that's who's in chat right there. Wise Cat Asset.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's who was in chat earlier, right there. Brandon Simmons.
Brandon runs a lot of local tracks, a lot of modified cars, and that's the track that he normally runs. So, and he carries that name, those colors on his car. So
good. Oh, Jeremy Rubin slid through his pit stall. They're working on it. And Rivera out first. Looks like Fitchner will come out second.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah, very good race off the pit road right there.
Well, Anthony got by Nathan Miller, so let's see if he can get the same type of restart that Nathan had when he restarted side by side with Nelson and slammed the door in front of that 88, trying to go by and challenge, see if anybody has anything for Nelson Rivera that seems quite unbeatable up until this point right now.
Well, I don't know if we can get a word in with him. He's got his mic muted here, but Nathan Miller, can you hear us?
What's up, Rudy?
Hey, Nathan. Well, I'll tell you what, you've been extremely fast here tonight. You and Anthony Fitchner trying to get by Nelson Rivera. I know you're probably not going to tell us everything. I think that's kind of a thing that you want to keep to yourself. But do you have anything for them two guys up in front of you? Anything? Can you tell us?
That's a weighted question, my friend. I hope.
Okay. Yeah.
I will tell you this: it's not going to be easy if I do have anything left. So right. I'm not cruising as much as I would like. I'm trying just to kind of maintain my position here. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we've seen that. You're a very very conservative on your tires, and coming out last week and grabbing that win off of at Bristol, that was an amazing racing, and I think that's what we were kind of thinking that you might have in store here for tonight. And I know you're not going to tell us everything. I know that's kind of like your little secret, but we're hoping that we can see another performance out of you like this. But I mean, I don't think you can be disappointed with even if you finished in the top 5 here. I mean, this is really good.
Oh yeah, I'm just happy to be out here. You know me. So anything, any good finish, I'll take. I appreciate your support, and I'm glad you guys are rooting me on here. We'll see what we can get done.
All right, buddy. Well, we're going to let you get back to work. So good luck. All right.
All right, 10-4, guys.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk to Nathan there, to see if, coming off that win last week, it really kind of, gives you a little bit of a boost of ego there, and kind of gives you, I don't know, like a shot in the arm, so to speak, and he may have something stored up. I don't think Nathan's going to tell us everything.
No, and he sounded very confident, Rudy. You could just tell that he was smiling on the other side of that mic.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever they did to that machine, I'm pretty sure he is very comfortable, at least to be fighting for a top 3 as he's been driving all night.
Yep. Here we go. Pace cars in. Let's see if Thitchner does not get a good start again. What's going on with his car? He does, man, that's 2 times in a row we've seen him do that, where he started on the outside of the front row. Or not 2 times in a row, but 2 times that we've seen him do that tonight. And Nathan Miller got that jump on him and got by him. Wow.
That is the problem of restarting on the outside, Rudy.
Yep.
You need to keep an eye on the outside wall, on the car next to you. You cannot be looking just in front of you. That's what Nathan Miller was doing. He knew that he could forget everything and just watch Nelson. That's what he did.
We have another caution. John Cottle going around. Oh, I think he got tapped there too. He's going to have some serious damage on that car now. Let's go back and take a look at this. I'd seen Michael Kinner barely got into the side of him.
That was the 07 all by himself. He got loose going into 2 behind, I think, was Jeremy Rubin in front of him, Rudy?
Yeah, yes it was. Yep. But he was okay right here until Michael Kinner tapped him a little bit, and that's what actually sent him into the wall harder than he was. So just an ever so slight tap is all it was by Michael Kinner there. Just enough to kind of, I don't know, just kind of upset that car a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, he was already slingshotting toward the outside. He was trying to correct as much as he could, and then that back just came in full power and just shot him out to the outside.
Just hit him just a little bit more.
Yeah, just to give him that little, you know what, you're already going. Let me just help you just a little bit. So.
Yeah, I'm sure Michael Kinner didn't mean to do that. It was just he was in the wrong place at the wrong time and tapped him. All right, well,
and that is a shame, Rudy, because just like Doug has, this is the second penalty that John Cutler received. So by ECR rules, this is his second EOL penalty. So he is now also going to be asked to park a car for the remaining of the night. It's a shame. He was fighting very hard, getting his car all the way back towards the front, but he's going to have to wait until next week at Talladega to fight for that win.
Oh, man. Bummer.
Well, it's part of the rules. Everybody knows it. Everybody follows it. And it's one of those risks that you need to be willing to take to get that extra speed, to get that extra inch, being very aggressive. Sometimes you might just overdrive a little bit. That's what happens. So, but John, being the extremely fast driver that he is, he's another one of those guys that is on our list of guys that will win a race this season. It's just a matter of when and where.
Well, what do you think of Nelson Rivera out here now? He crosses the line, he'll lead 175 laps out of the 192. That is unbelievable. And
look at everybody, Rudy. This is the first time that they have not come into the pits when the yellow came out. So strategy is playing a big role right now. No one wants to give their track position away. Think everybody, you know what, I'm going to stay out even though we have 47 laps. 47 laps is going to be a long way on those tires, but I don't think anybody wants to give an inch. Unless we see another caution very quickly, we might see a lot of guys, especially in that top 10, staying out, trying to preserve track position as much as they can, with guys from 10 to 20 being that spoiler. You know what? I'm going to gamble. I'm going to get fresh tires, and I'm going to go for it.
That's highly possible. Well, we've still got 25 cars out there right on the field right now, and they're all on the lead lap. So this is pretty awesome, man. I'm telling you, this is going to be a good finish.
Yeah, Rudy, one piece of information that we just got, and we needed to remind everybody. We've been talking a lot about the restarts. Nelson Rivera and Nathan Miller, they are not teammates, but they are part of the same coalition. So their spotters are talking. That's why they're getting a lot of those jumps, together with Scott Hunsinger sitting on the outside. So don't be surprised to see both guys on the front stretch and Scott Hunsinger get a jump on Anthony Titchener.
Oh, right, yeah. Here we go. Pace car's in, and there they go. And they did exactly what you just said. Hunsinger on the outside. Titchener coming back on the inside. Oh, Titchener out of shape. Boy, he is really pushing that car hard right now.
We have a car all the way out to the inside wall on third and fourth. That is AJ Scarborough. He hits the wall hard. We have a yellow.
Oh, Jay Scarborough. Yes, sir. We are on it. Let's see exactly what happened to AJ here. Oh, he did. It was just like his car just went to the right on him. I've seen that before when guys did that, and it was either their graphics card went out or something. So I'm just kind of wondering. It was almost like he didn't even turn going into the turn. He just went straight. That's exactly what I'll bet happened right there. He just went straight into the wall, like he never made the turn.
We just got confirmation. You nailed it, Rudy. He had computer problems. His screen just went black. He couldn't see anything. He didn't know where he was.
Yep. It's kind of easy to call because you see things like that, and because I've seen it a lot. All these broadcasts that I do, I see it a lot, and I know another guy that's had trouble with his graphics card, and just all you can do is, like he said, is just hold the wheel straight so you don't, try not to collect anybody else into it, and just get on the brakes,
And Rudy, here we go. Strategy being played. Josh Witherspoon, our second place in the standings, driver of the 79. He's opting to come back to pit road for adjustments for tires, but he's losing a lot of time.
Yeah, we had about the last 8 or 9 drivers that all came to pit road, but that whole front, like 13, 14 drivers, they stayed out.
Wow, something happened to him. Yeah. I think Josh may have got a speeding penalty going into the pits, Rudy. If that happened, that just killed his strategy.
Yep. Well, he's still got 40 laps to go, and a lot can happen in that 40 laps. But yeah, this is kind of like the same thing that we seen last week. He just had a bad week. He's kept the car in clean shape, and things like that happen. And when the guys are driving as hard as these guys are, and they're trying to figure strategy, there's a lot for these guys to do. Luis, yourself as a driver, there is so much mentally to keep yourself focused on that sometimes you just miss that line when you're coming into pit road, and you roll over it a couple mile an hour over the speed limit, and there you go. There's a penalty.
Yeah, that's all it takes, that 1 mile an hour, and we cannot control it. Yep. Sometimes we just think, what, I've done this before. I know that I can go above. All of a sudden, you see that black flag coming across your screen, which is very, very bad. But it happens. It's art.
Well, let's take a look at the race summary here. This is caution number 11, folks. Got 40 to go. Now's not the time to leave. Everybody needs to stay put and watch the end of this, because this is really coming down to a strategized race. And I'll tell you what, it's good to see these guys running this good. After last week's performance there at Bristol, that was an amazing race. I think we're going to see another great, amazing finish right here tonight. Luis, this is really good. And I wanted to thank you personally, Luis, for joining me in the booth. This has been, last week and this week, I'll tell you what, I just don't even know what to say. I'm just like tongue-tied, man. It's been amazing having you in the booth with me.
Hey, but it's one of those things. I don't think there's a driver out there that growing up, they used to watch races, used to watch broadcasts. Pretty sure everybody at one point or the other always thought, what? I would love to be in the broadcast booth, being able to watch races for free and getting paid for it. We don't get paid for it all of a sudden, but you know what? This is the second thing that we would like at least we're close to the racetrack, and I'm having a blast. As long as you let me be out here, we're gonna be out here as much as we can.
Well, you found a home here, brother. This is awesome. All right, they're doubled up. Lights are out. Pace car's heading for pit road, and we're waiting on the green flag. And there it is. Boy, Nathan and Nelson go together. Boy, I'll tell you what, Nathan almost, if he wouldn't have had to shift right there at that line, he would have got a lap lead on that. It was that close.
And a big difference, Rudy. Scott Hunsinger went by Anthony Titchener when the caution came out, so he restarted third on that bottom lane. So now Anthony's going to have to burn a lot of his tires trying to get by that 52. As we have a car going across the track, Rudy, in the front stretch.
I didn't see who it was, but let's...
Jay Adair, number 43.
Yes, sir, Jay Adair. Let's go check it out, see what happened to Jay.
He just got loose coming into the throttle, trying to get as much as he could coming out of fourth to be on max speed crossing the finish line. The back of the car just got a little bit too loose. He spun around, and luckily no one hit him. He went by the front stretch, through the grass, came back into the track, and nothing happened. So very, very lucky Gia there right now, being able to rejoin the race with his car completely cleaned.
Well, I don't think anybody up here in the front is going to come to pit road, so I'm thinking maybe it might be time that let's talk to Sean Medling. What do you think?
Sure, one of those guys.
I'll drag him down. You talk to him.
Hell yeah.
Go.
Hey, Sean, Louise here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, bump?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, you started the race all the way back in the 26th position. You were driving in 7th. Pretty sure you're watching those guys in front of you, getting ready to make your move. How has your car feel? What do you think you have left towards this final 35 laps that we're going to see?
There's no telling. These guys are pretty fast up front here. I really don't have a lot of practice on this setup. I've been working on it all race, trying to get it to turn more in the center. I got it a little bit better. I'm going to see what I can do with them, but we got Schweikert and all these other guys up here, and they're pretty fast, so I'm going to see what I can do with them.
Well, you are one of those guys that we know that can get everything out of a set of tires, especially when they're used. Do you think right now that guys trying to stay out, keeping their track positions, those restarts, what do you think is going to be the key? Getting back on the gas without spinning those tires, or trying to pick the right level of aggression and diving for position? What do you think is going to be the key now in these restarts?
I think at the very beginning of the restart, it's going to be spinning tires, try and keep the tires underneath you, and then the next step is get to the bottom of the track. That's the fastest way around here is get to the bottom, and the first one that gets down there is going to have an advantage.
Well, we kept watching your race. We called your name out a couple of times. We're pretty sure you have a pretty good set under that car, under the 73. Hopefully you can bring it home, and we can talk to you after the race. So good luck to you. Have an awesome closing laps of this amazing race.
All right, Louis, thanks a lot.
All right.
There you go, Rudy. Another guy that seems pretty confident in what he has.
Exactly. You can hear it in his voice, the confidence. So I'm anxious to see the outcome of this. If Nelson's got enough, leading 189 laps right now out of the 206, I'll tell you what, these guys are all sitting back here scratching their heads right now. They're thinking, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to this car? Where do I have to put it? What do should I stop for a pit stop? Should I take 4 fresh tires? Let him stay out there on the old ones and try to get by him. But everybody's so anxious to stay out here and protect that track position right now. And this is going to mean everything to these guys. So, but we did get a few guys that did take it. Anthony Titchener come down pit road. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, talk about a gamble. Anthony throwing the dice. You know what? Why not? I was behind a couple of guys. We're not restarting what I wanted. I'm going to go in, get fresh tires. Hopefully it's going to pay dividends, especially if we go green towards the end.
Well, he's got a few guys out here that have got damage on their cars that he'll be able to get by. But we're ready to go green. His car's in. And they are off. And boy, they went. Helsing's got a pretty good start on Nathan Miller that time. Here comes Scott Hunsinger looking to the inside.
Yeah, I don't think the spotters were talking on this one. With 30 laps to go, pretty sure they look at each other and say, you know what? We've been working together up until this point. Now it's every man for itself.
That's right. Schweiker into the top 4, trying to hang on to that position. Ron Miller giving him a tough time, making Schweiker earn that position. And John's been working on trying to get the damage fixed on that car. Oh, Ron Miller out of shape. Ron, there goes another one. And I don't see a caution yet.
Now we do. Now we go.
Okay. Finally, let's go back and take a look at this and see what happened here. Ron Miller, I'm thinking he might have just got loose on his own.
Yeah, he got, when John went by him in 1 and 2, he checked up just a little bit. That wiggled the car. All of a sudden, who was right in front of him? The wall out of turn 2. He had to check up. Sean Medling coming right behind him, tapping a little bit, just like Michael Kinner did with John Cuttle. That was enough to give Ron to spin around.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael Guidry, I'll bet you he was checking his drawers when he got done, because that happened right in front of him. And I'm going to go back here and ride along with Michael Guidry here for a second and just show you just what he was seeing out his windshield as number 78 was coming right across in front of him like this. He's thinking, oh no, I'm going to get tore up here. And it just missed him. Man, what another close call by these guys. Jeez, oh man. All right, back up front. Wrong button. There we go. Hate that when the cameraman messes up. Well, Nathan Miller stays in second. Now, Anthony Titchener did pick up a couple of positions on that, up to 13, but he's still got a lot of great racers ahead of him to go. George Munger, Chris Serkois. There, you were talking about Chris. There he is, running in number 11.
There you go. Slowly and surely, all the time, every race.
Yep. And I remember just a few laps ago, you were concerned about Josh Witherspoon. Look at here, running in 9th.
Yeah, he was the first one to come in and get fresh tires, so he stopped one yellow before Anthony and the rest of the guys. So he's that very first guy with better tires than everybody else in front of him. So watch out, especially now in these restarts, Rudy, that we have 27 laps to go. It's the heat cycles on the tires that start to play a factor, because every time that these guys go through a yellow, they slow down, they cool off those tires, and that plays a game on the tires, because every time that you go green, you restart, you go faster, you generate a lot of heat. That heating up, cooling down, heating up, cooling down, that plays a huge factor on those tires. And we're going to start to see, especially on those rear tires during restart. So if we continue to see this trend of yellow flags, guys going crazy, trying to get everything that they can, which we're probably going to see, that might be a pretty good thing for Josh Witherspoon. And being in the 9th place, he's restarting on the inside, so that's another advantage that he might have to try to get a couple of positions right out of the gate on those restarts.
Right. Well, we got 4 guys that have rejoined the race here. Tony DeGennaro with some pretty... Looks like he's got his car pretty well cleaned up here. He is 54 laps back in 27th place. Josh Sheets in 29th, 70 laps back. Stephen Massey, 71 laps down in 30th. And Matt Moritz back out on the track. He's still got a little bit of damage on the car, but he is 86 laps down.
Yeah, Stephen Massey sent me a message here. Did you guys caught my flipping together with Thomas when John Cotto went by them? Say, yep, Go
yeah.
check the broadcast later. You're going to see your car with some serious air miles. He's now driving a pretty good version, almost like a modified car.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Well, he'll be able to save up those air miles and use them for a flight later, maybe. All right, here we go. Back to green. Pace car's in. Nelson Rivera not going at the same time Nathan Miller did, but he went right on that. Man, that was perfect. Hunsinger, Schweikert on the outside. Let's see what Schweikert can do with Hunsinger. Hunsinger drives on by, and here comes Brian Wilderson.
that's another name that we haven't spoke about in quite a while in this race. Brian Wilderson, 2-time winner this season. He was. Oh, we have another caution.
Another caution. Wow.
Wow, another big one, Rudy.
Uh-oh.
Another big one.
Yep. Justin
Involved
in that.
Jeremy Rubin.
Wind us back here. Let's take a look at it. Try to figure out where all this started. Looks like a little bumping going into the turn up here. I'm seeing. You guys are playing awful rough here for the closing laps, and that's the kind of stuff though that you're going to see. You know, there's just no getting around it. Yeah, Jeremy Rubin and Brian Wilderson. Like Wilderson might have got into the back of Rubin just a little bit right there in the turn and upset that car. And Rubin's
I think that's
around.
I think that's Jay there, Rudy.
Oh, okay.
The number 43 machine.
Okay, you are correct. Yep, I'm sorry. My bad. Yep, that was Jay Adair. Yeah, they barely got into Jeremy.
Yeah, it was just a 6 o'clock traffic jam down turn 3. Everybody from behind, if I'm not mistaken, behind Chris Steele on the 92. Everybody who was behind going into turn 3 just had to check out because of speed. And then Chris Rickoy, Anthony Titchener, everybody in front just slowed down just a little bit. Rubin still slowed down a little bit. Then the accordion effect just collected everybody. Gia there came behind. Small touch. Everybody turned around, collected Michael Kinner, collected Justin Bland, collected Jai Hadley, collected Ken Worley. Everybody who was in the same radius just got a piece of that.
Yep. Oh, Nelson Rivera still in the lead, and we're coming down to it here. They're going to be getting 20 to go here in the next couple laps. Again, I wanted to thank you for helping out tonight. It's really been awesome. It just made this race go by so quick. You know, it's hard to believe that we've got 220 laps chewed down already. That's amazing.
It's a lot easier to play ball when you have two guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you do it, to be quite honest, and we've been through a couple of the broadcasts where you've been here by yourself, those 500-milers, those Charlotte 600s. I don't know how you do it, man. We need to give you an Ironman trophy or something because that is very, very impressive.
Well, it's a lot to talk about. Well, it looks like Nelson, yeah, believe me, Nelson may start on the outside here. Is he going to change this up? And I believe he's going to. Well, see, on them older tires, and you don't want that guy to sneak by you on the outside. So, and he's in command of this start. So that could be a very, very smart move right there by Nelson Rivera.
Yeah, if he does, we're still 2 to go, so they're letting us know right now. Looking at it as a strategy point, Rudy, I'm not sure what Nelson would gain right now by starting on the outside, unless he is diagnosing the track right now and he thinks that on the outside the track just has better grip. Because if you take a look on the coming out of turn 3 and 4, they come out from the bottom of the track and they shoot up the track, going very close to the wall. That's the racing groove.
Yeah.
So unless he thought that might benefit him, which I don't think he's doing it. We see now he's making his move down to the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless there was a coordinated effort with a teammate or something to go buy someone to restart together, that I would understand it. But now with 18 laps to go, having such a good line going into one, restarting on the bottom, he was just playing way too risky right now. And he has the better car, had it during the entire race. So let's see if he can keep together. 18 more laps, restarting with 17 to go.
18 to go.
Sorry, my bad. You're right.
All right, here we go. Pace car's in, and there he goes on that gas. He got a great restart on Nathan Miller. Hunsinger, Schweiker.
Wow, look at that hornet's nest. We have 3 wide behind them.
Yeah, Wilson gets by Schweiker. Well, he was kind of by him there, but I just see another car spin back there and heading on. And he does clear Schweiker. Chuck Harrell now trying to get up here. Look at Chuck coming from the back of the field. We've seen him way back there earlier, and he's up into the top 6. Witherspoon cranking it up. He's looking to the inside here of Michael Guidry. Those two touch. Little touching out here.
Wow, that was close. That was very, very close.
Yeah, I don't think it was enough to upset the car, but I.
Whoa, Rudy, look behind them. A touch between Anthony Titchener and Brandon Simmons.
I'm trying to catch up with Brandon Simmons here. And let's go back and take a look at this. Titchener right on Brandon Simmons' tail here. Oh, did he ever pile drive him in the tail? Wow. And Titchener, boy, hard on the brakes right there. He locked it up to try to keep it off of Brandon Simmons. He did a good job on that, but man, did he ever hit Brandon hard in the tail.
It was by a small little inch that Anthony was not clear. He tried to get the move towards the inside. He was just not completely clear, and is all you need. That small little bump got Brandon off shape, and Anthony actually did a pretty good job after that when Brandon was completely sideways to avoid the 32. So a pretty good job after that from the driver of the 87, just hitting the brakes, make sure that he was not going to collect the 32.
Now I've seen a little bit of damage. He did actually get a little bit more damage on that right front corner out of that, but I believe Anthony's okay. It's not that the car's not drivable like that. I don't think it's knocked the toe out or anything. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, we've seen worse damages
towards
the night. We saw the same, I believe, the same level of damage on John Schweiker's car. As we see Anthony now bringing the car, I think he's going to go to the pits trying to fix that car.
Well, that makes,
yes, he does.
That makes caution number 15. Caution number 15. 70 laps, I guess.
We have some pretty good long green flag runs, but this is not unexpected with less than 40 to go to see this level of intensity. These drivers know it is now or never. They need to go. They need to try to get as much as they can. And unfortunately, the track is just not that big. You're going to get sideways. You're going to get narrower, especially going in and out of the turns. So short track racing at its best.
Yes, sir. We're going to probably have about 10 to go when we get ready to go back green here. So now it's going to be just a matter of Nelson Rivera trying to keep Nathan Miller, last week's winner at Bristol, at bay here. And Scott Hunsinger, Brian Wilderson closing in. They've come from the back of the pack up to the front, now running in third and fourth. Be keeping an eye on those two as well. This is going to be interesting. Those two, boy, really driving the wheels off of that thing to get up here into the top 5.
And Rudy, if you take a look, Nelson Rivera started in the pole. So he's been leading most of the race, no question. Nathan Miller is sitting second. He started in the 23rd position. Scott Hunsinger, 21st. Brian Wilderson, 14th. Then we have Schweiker that started third, but Chuck Harrell, 22nd. Josh Witherspoon, 17th. Chris Steele, 16th. Michael Kinner, 25th. So all of these guys started all the way in the back in the second half of the pack. Kept their guys going, stay away from trouble, try to avoid as much as they can, and even if they did, fix the cars, try to position themselves with now 10 to go. Even if they do get a quick yellow flag, they're still going to have another one because we need at least 5 laps to the end for a caution to come out that will end the race. Right. So right now, even if they do get another one, we're still going to have another restart. So everybody, with the exception of Nelson, John Schweiker, and Jeremy Rubin, now in the top 10, they started the race in the front.
All right, here we go. Pace car about to head to pit road. Get this thing started up one more time. Let's see if we can take it to the checkered flag. And there we go, green flag.
Another solid restart by Nelson Rivera.
And boy, Hunsinger coming alive here.
Whoa, look at that.
Nathan Miller. Boy, he is driving it hard right now. He wants that second position.
Nathan fighting hard on the outside. Let's see if he can clear the 52 on the exit.
I believe he's got it. Yes, he got a good enough run off of the turn right there. But these guys racing it up like this let Nelson Rivera get out there a little bit. He's out there about a half a second ahead of Nathan Miller. Now Nathan's got his work cut out for him to get up there. Schweiker in 5th. Looks to the inside of Brian Wilderson.
And Schweiker has a mirror full of Josh Witherspoon in the 79 trying to go by.
Yep, Witherspoon trying to hang on to that second place in the points. And every position out here counts as a point for these guys, so this is something that they've really got to, they're thinking about constantly as they're out there driving. I got to get one more position, Chuck Harrell, another one. Man, he is really cranking it up.
Yeah, Nathan Miller got almost sideways coming out of the lap behind. That just gave Scott Hunsinger an awesome run. He's now completely tucked behind the 88 for second position.
Yeah, these guys are racing it real hard right now. Looking back here, Anthony Thitchner, I believe he's got just enough damage, or he's just mired in traffic so much right here as they go 3 wide back here. The 21 was on the outside. That was Jordan Munger. And boy,
here we go 3 wide again.
Oh my, I'm telling you. Brandon Simmons and Jai Hatterick going at it. Looks like Brandon Simmons may win that battle. Hatterick coming back though. Looking on the inside. Thitchner moves into 12th. Gets around Ron Miller. Chris Steele just ahead of him in 11th. One we haven't talked about too awful much tonight. Michael Kinner. A lot of damage on that car, but he is really wheeling it right now, trying to hang on to a top 10 finish here. That's kind of a goal. You just got to set that goal when you got that much damage. If you can get a top 10 out of it, and he's got to be happy about that performance right there.
And Rudy, Josh Witherspoon just dived in front on the bottom of John Schweiker, trying to go by, trying to get that 5th position.
And I believe he's going to get it. Schweiker, he hasn't been quite as fast now with that since he's had that damage. Witherspoon does get it. Schweiker trying to come back, but he was really loose coming off the turn that time, and you can't get no power when you're that loose. And he is still struggling with that. Schweiker.
And Rudy all the way up in the front. Nelson Rivera opening up the last lap. White flag for the 77.
Yes, sir. Schweiker had a minute there, and he's going to lose a bunch of positions here. But Nelson Rivera, this is going to be it for him right here. Has dominated out here tonight, leading 223 laps at the end of this race. Coming off of turn 4 and crossing the finish line first, Nelson Rivera. Congratulations to Nelson tonight. What a fantastic run for him tonight. Man, I'm telling you, what a finish, huh? I'm glad to see it finished under green.
Yeah, talk about excitement, emotions on that last restart. I think these guys saved everything for that last 10 laps. What a crazy finish. Passing, banging, side-by-side action. Awesome, awesome finish.
Well, we'll start out with 3rd place. I'll let you go ahead and have 3rd place here. Talk to Scott Hunsinger, okay?
Yes, sir. Let me go
There you go.
find Scott.
You got him.
Hey, Scott. Louise here in the broadcast booth. Got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir.
Well, you started the race all the way back in 21st position, being very conservative, knowing that this race was going to be a long run. Had a play to be in the top three, came home third. Just let us know a little bit about how your race went. What was the game plan? What was the strategy? How was the car dealing? Congratulations and an awesome third place finish, bud.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, the plan was just to kind of be conservative and take my time, and I was able to. I took an EOL at the beginning of the race too, so I started last and just kind of gradually worked my way up. And once I got to the front, I just tried to do everything I could to maintain.
During this, we saw that you got caught on the outside on a lot of these restarts following the end of the race. But I think with one or two restarts to go, you ended up passing Anthony towards the third position, restarting on the bottom. Restarting on the bottom was that much important because from our vantage point up here, whoever was on the bottom had a tremendous advantage towards everybody else.
Yeah, I think it was an advantage. I don't know if it was a huge one just because in those cycles you're talking about, I was making changes in the pits and I swung too far the other way and tightened it up too much. So I was just kind of trying to maintain for a while until I got it back. And then when I was able to get by Anthony there on that one restart, it was kind of back to my liking, so I got more aggressive with it.
Well, this was an awesome bounce back race after Bristol. We know that you didn't have the race that you wanted. So congratulations again. We'll give you the floor to say thanks, to give it your shout out. So this is our third place finisher tonight, the driver of the number 52, Scott Hunsinger. Scott, the floor is yours.
I'd like to thank my teammates at Wild Child and also all the Spartan guys over there. They do a great job of putting these sets together. And obviously thank you guys for the job well done you guys always put on every week. Really enjoyed going back and listening to and watching the broadcasts and ECR, and just want to wish Nicole well with get her speedy recovery.
Well, thanks, Scott. That was our third place finisher, Scott Hunsinger in the number 52. I believe we already have Nathan Miller here in the booth, our second place finisher, right?
Yes. Nathan,
Hey.
You got a copy?
I do, fellas. How are you?
Well, good, man. You bring the Budweiser car into second place this week after a win last week at Bristol. And I know we talked to you earlier, and I asked you if you had anything saved up for Nelson there. And I know you didn't want to really tell me all your little secrets there, but it appears like you tried everything you could to actually would fought with Scott Hunsinger there for second for quite a while. So it was all you could do to stay ahead of him. So rather than get up there and battle it up with Nelson, you were battling for second just to hang on.
Yeah. Those all those restarts late in the going just killed any chance I had. I mean, Nelson was obviously the class of the field on short and long runs, but I think on long runs I was able to sort of at least keep pace. So my best hope was going to be some lap traffic, and we just never got close because we only had 5 lap runs at a time. So I was just fighting for second at that point, just trying to bring it home for a top 3 because I love talking to you guys.
Oh, yeah, well, we enjoyed talking to you too, Nathan. But tell me about the racing out there. I mean, how difficult was it to just to turn laps on the race, let alone battling it up with somebody?
I enjoyed it. I thought the track was pretty good. It was a little tight for my liking, which I think was the opposite of what most people were struggling with, but I'm not really sure. I didn't see a lot of the incidents tonight, so I'm not sure if people were getting tight and then being loose off with too much wheel into it coming off the corner, or if they were just loose in general. So I thought it was fine. It was just really hard to get into a rhythm the last half. And Richmond is a tough track for me. So I had a hard time finding my braking points and where I wanted to get back in the throttle on all those cautions late in the race. The first half went pretty smooth. I got up there and it was fun, just turning laps, but it was just tough. Richmond's a tough track. It's real easy to overdrive the corner, and it's real easy to be on the throttle too soon coming off. So you just got to be real careful.
Well, just how much different would it have been if it would have been maybe under the lights, night racing instead of during the day?
Well, I definitely think we would have had more grip in that case, but it is, it is what it is. We're all out there under the same conditions, so it's how well you can adapt to them.
Very true, very true. Well, I guess my big question is, Nathan, you're new to the league over here, and this is your second race.
Yeah, second cup race, correct.
And actually, last week you were filling in, and I believe this week you are too. But filling in, and what do you think of the racing out here? It's pretty tough competition, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, which is why I'm happy that they're giving me a seat here. I like the racing. It's hard to judge on a track like Richmond. It's just tough. So I try not to get too discouraged with the amount of cautions. Sometimes it just happens. It's iRacing. It's not real life. So it's hard. It's not easy. So but then last week Bristol was probably one of the best races I've ever been a part of. Period. So. You gotta show up and race to be a part of the good ones, So I'm just gonna keep showing up, and hopefully I keep getting a seat.
Well, that's good, man. I'll tell you, another great performance out of you this week here, Nathan. So, anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, the guys at Spartan, of course, Brian, John, Mike, Tony, Scott, Nelson. I was actually running his set tonight, and so I'm glad he's the one who beat me because he should have. Thank you guys, of course. I say it week in and week out, but I love watching your broadcaster. They're the class of the field on YouTube in terms of iRacing broadcasting, I think. So keep up the good work. Nicole, I ran my pink/purple 88 for her tonight, so hopefully she gets a chance to see all these awesome broadcasts at some point and see all the support from the league in general. Thanks to everybody here, Anthony and all the other admins that have to deal with all the stuff that I don't have to.
All right, very good. All right. Well, congratulations again on second place tonight, Nathan, and thanks for talking with us.
Anytime. It's my pleasure, guys.
All right, Luis, you got the winner?
I believe so. Nelson Rivera, driver of the number 77 machine. Do you got a copy, Bob?
I do, Luis. I do.
Well, I don't think we can say more about tonight's performance that you turned out. Total domination. You started up front, got the pole position. We knew from the reports that we got from your camp that you were pretty confident with your set. We knew that you based on your Phoenix set, a race that you won. So we knew that you were going to be a tough outing for everybody. But starting on the pole, leading most laps, total domination, nailing every restart. Was that easy as you made it look, or you were working behind that wheel?
Well, the car was great. I find it harder. It's tough. When you there's a lot of pressure when you have a car like this. A great car. This car, this car was a winning car, so I didn't want to screw it up. I was focused on not speeding down pit road, trying to nail those restarts, and just let the car do the rest. So this is our Phoenix chassis. This chassis is 2 for 2. We're gonna have to give it a nickname now. Actually, that's the thing to do when you have these, like Amelia Earhart with Dale Earnhardt's chassis. But it was awesome. I felt good going into tonight. Obviously it's racing. Anything could go wrong. Little bobble here, a little. Anthony was strong in the beginning. But it was a great night. I got a smile from ear to ear. My teammates, most of them had a great show tonight. We were all up there at one point, top 5, top 6. It was a great night. There's not much I can say, but I'm just happy.
Well, you won at Phoenix, which is a short track, flat track with a little bit of banking. Now you ran a pretty solid race in Martinsville. If I'm not mistaken, you came home second in that race, just behind Justin Blanche, so another flat surface. Now in Richmond, you come out, dominate the race. What is it about these short intermediate tracks, flat surfaces, that you are so comfortable with? Or is just your driving style that match the type of the track and you just love driving these types of tracks?
It's not. I don't think it's so much the track. Though I've had success at New Hampshire, which is another flat track, in the past. but this set just fits my style. I like the way it launches off the corner, which is very important, obviously at any track, but especially at a flat track. It's just the balance, just like Phoenix, the balance remained the same. Whether I chose to go with no tires, 4 tires, 2 tires, it didn't matter. It stayed the same. It was very consistent, and all I had to do was not make a mistake.
Well, that just gives you 2 wins on this year's Cup Series. You're more than safe inside our chase. We now move into a different part of the championship. Next week we'll have Talladega Super Speedway, and then we start a series of 1.5-mile tracks. Temperatures are going up. The tracks are going to be slick. Do you think you guys can carry that momentum towards those different types of tracks? Or you think something might happen, other guys might show up, guys might rebound? What do you think the next couple of races might produce for us here at the ECR Cup Series?
I think we're going to keep this momentum going. You know, last week Nathan, this week us. We're going to keep it going. As a matter of fact, we have a test session scheduled for tomorrow. We're going to get on it right away, and you know, Talladega's a crapshoot. You know, honestly, say the same thing I said when you guys asked me about Bristol a few weeks ago. Do we have to go there? Obviously, we have to go there, but you know, we'll hopefully. You know, I mean, this is a strong team. We have a lot of confidence. It doesn't matter what size track. We have a lot of confidence, so we should have a nice piece for Talladega and see what happens.
Well, sir, total domination. Pretty sure your guys back in the garage in the shop are waiting for you to go celebrate. So, Rudy, you have any questions for Nelson?
No, I'm good. I'm just congratulations on a dominating performance here tonight. 223 laps you led, Nelson. That's amazing on this track.
Thank you, Rudy. Yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night for us. Any one of the Wild Child crew or Spartan crew, you know, could have won tonight. I was just kept the track position. I was lucky enough to stay up there. Clean air, even though it's Richmond, it's 3/4 mile track. You still got a little advantage with that air, staying out front, and it just worked out.
All right. Well, good job.
Yeah, congratulations again, Nelson. We'll give you the floor to say your final thanks, and hopefully we'll see you next week battling for that spot once again at Talladega. So congratulations again. Awesome performance, total domination. Driver of the number 77, Nelson Rivera. Please take it away. The floor is yours, or congratulations once again.
Yeah, I'd like to mention Nicole. We've been thinking about her all week. Almost every paint scheme, if not every paint scheme, had a little something to honor Nicole, to wish her a speedy recovery. She's a big part of this ECR family, and she's definitely missed. You know, I wish her and her family the best, and hope things work out. I also want to mention that we didn't have Verizon on the car this week because there's a labor dispute between the company and its union workers, so we're respecting that. So instead we put the 2 unions involved, IBW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, and CWA, Communication Workers of America. So they're going to be on the car for the next few weeks until the strike is resolved. So and we're hoping that's going to be soon.
Yeah, for brother. Well, congratulations again. Have an awesome rest of the night and week celebrating, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday here in Talladega. So congratulations again. Thanks again. Awesome win. Nelson Rivera, driver of the 77.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Night. Okay, let's run down through the results here. Nelson Rivera coming out on top here with a dominating performance of a win tonight, Luis. 223 laps. That's unheard of.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Nathan Miller coming home second. Scott Hunsinger third. Brian Woodleson fourth. Josh Witherspoon fifth. Chuck Harrell sixth. John Schweikert finishing seventh. Michael Guidry, 8th place. Anthony Thitchner, 9th. And Jeremy Rubin, 10th. Want to do any?
Yeah, Brendan Simmons finishing 11th. Michael Kinner, even with a completely destroyed car, finished in the 12th position. Chris Steele came home 13. Ron Miller 14. Jai Hatterick 15. Ken Worley 16. George Munger 17. Michael Leiby 18. Chris Urquoy finishing 19. And Sean Medling rounding up the top 20. But he was 15 laps behind.
All right, Ken Ron 21st, Kirk Quist 22nd, Jay Adair finishing 23rd, Justin Bland 24th, AJ Scarborough 25th, John Cottle, man, we seen him up there battling with, really thought he was going to be a top 5 contender today, but had some issues and finishes 26th. Tony DeGennaro 27th, Josh Sheets 28th, Stephen Massey 29th, and Mark Bratcher 30th. Matt Moritz 31st, Thomas Lattimore 32nd, and Douglas Hess rounding out the field in 33rd position. So again, big congratulations to Nelson Rivera here for ECR. Thanks, folks, for tuning in here tonight on MaxSpeedTV, and thank you, Luis, for helping out in the booth, man. Awesome job again this week, and man, I can't say enough. Thank you, sir. It was just actually a pure honor to have you into the booth with me, and it just felt so, I don't know, we just seemed to click.
Man, I think the racing just make our lives a lot easier. When we have this caliber of drivers turning up these type of performances, whoever is up here is just easier. You make my life easier. I just follow your lead. After that, everything clicks. Not a big problem. And like I said, as long as you let me come up here and join the booth, and I'm out of action, which is going to be pretty hard for me to get back into the car with Nathan now running that strong, finishing first, finishing second. I believe I'm going to have to redeal my contract with Spartan later when I come back racing. Until then, as long as you have me here, it's a pleasure being in the booth with you. But awesome broadcast once again. And who knows, maybe we'll see each other again next week in Talladega.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you. We'll be back here tomorrow night. So make sure you tune in for that. Till then, folks, stay safe and have a good night.